Sir, I've sent a link to Shetty sir anyway. He might join today. I'll also send a personal message to him saying videos on count is less. So today he'll definitely join.
Sure.
We'll have a competition, guys. Let's see how many of you can stay with your videos on for a long time. What is it? You have not bathed or something today? Hangela Inillatana, you have taken bath, no? Which on your videos? Thank you, sir, and sorry for wasting your time.
No problem, no problem.
From their end, not from my end, for sure.
See, she told Shetty sir will join or may join. We don't know if she's bluffing or if she's telling the truth. But the Bayan Indra is there. So at least the Bayan Indra will keep the videos on, right? That's the trick here. Okay. And if he comes, I'm sure he will not use his name and come. He'll use a random student's name and join. You will not know that he's here. So your online class should be just like an offline class. There should not be any difference. How will it happen in offline class?
They'll go under the table, sir.
Class, for example, you would not apply makeup or lipstick. The point is not to look beautiful or handsome in class. The point is to get knowledge, right? So we don't care. I don't care how beautiful or handsome you look, as long as you're there. That is what is required, right? Chinmay, you're telling something?
They'll go under the table, sir, if it's an offline class. Video off madake. They'll go under the table.
Absolutely. Will you do that at offline class? No. You're there. How you look, that's secondary. But your presence is required, not just joining the meeting and just malkododu berenu madodu with the videos off. It won't work. It should be at par with offline class. How do we make that work? Your videos will be on, make it interactive. When I ask questions, you look at me, I look at you. Again, it's a form of non-verbal communication. I've not started yet, but again, it's a form of non-verbal communication. I will get to know how interested you are, how boring the class is, how interesting the class is. If I explain a concept and you're looking up and down, I'll get to know that you have not understood. I will repeat once again. So as trainers, we'll take cues from the students' reaction as well. And interactive. When I ask a question, will you answer when you are in, if you were in offline class, would you answer or no directly? Yes. Similarly here, there is no restriction in my class. Unmute, answer, mute right? So keep all the videos on, books, pens, pencils, materials in front of you. We'll start in 20 seconds. I hope all of you are ready. Okay. Good evening. Good evening, all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Some 20% responded, which is okayish. Others, just check your audio video once. Check unmute and say good evening once, all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good. Great. Okay. Now that you're also audible, let us start with today's R2. R or R2C? R2C?
R2C.
What is R2C?
Revision to cherish.
Revision to cherish. But here, what I am calling today's class is not R2C, it is D2C. What do you mean by D2C? Discussion to cherish. Discuss to cherish. It's a revision itself. But I'll not be calling this as a revision class. This is going to be a discussion class. What does that mean? All of you know English. Most of you know the concepts. Most of you know what this is. But still we are revising. So I will not let this be a one-way street. It's not like I will only be talking, you'll be listening. No. Because you already know, we're just fine-tuning and revising a bit. So what I will do, I will initiate a conversation. I will initiate a topic. You will tell me what that is from what you have understood, right? And depending on what you answer, we will then take it forward. If everything is correct, I'll just summarize it in a sentence and move on. If I think you guys are making mistakes somewhere, then I will go in detail. Why this is important is sometimes as trainers, we feel I have explained this concept, you have understood. How will we get to know if you have not understood? How? Once you answer, and if your answer is wrong, we are sure that you have not understood properly. If you answer it correctly, fine, well and good. But if you answer it, say, incorrectly, that means something is wrong. We'll dig it in deep. That is the reason I will not talk throughout the session. I will let you talk. And if I feel you're, say, slightly confused somewhere, if your answer sounds confusing, we will then discuss that in detail. Is that clear? So this should be an interactive class. I may call anyone randomly to answer. You will be answering. And if you don't answer, I mean, I know the tricks. Okay. If I ask, for example, let's take Gaurav Jain, for example, not you, Gaurav. I'll ask a question and suddenly freeze, disconnect. And then you go back, book note kondo, you will read the correct answer properly. And then join and say, sir, internet issue, so this is the correct answer. Don't do all that. I've seen. I've also was in your stage a few years back. If your answer is correct, very good. You know it. If your answer is wrong and someone corrects it, trust me, you will never repeat that mistake in your life again. Got what I'm saying? If you're right, you're right. You're good anyways at it. But if your answer is wrong, that means, and someone corrects it, in Kannada there is a saying, what does that mean? You make a mistake, you learn from the mistake. If you don't make a mistake, you will never learn. You will continue making the mistake unless someone points out the mistake. So attempt, correct or wrong, I don't care. I will not be scoring you today. I will not be judging you today. You answer. If it is right, very good. I'll clap. If it is wrong, I will correct you. Who's getting benefit at the end of the day? You. So you should be happy about it, right? And if at all you make a mistake, again, take it from me, you will never repeat that mistake in your life again. Mostly, you will not repeat that in your life. So today's session is about revision and discussion. I will be discussing some tricks, some which I have already discussed in class and some which I have not discussed in class to make you feel comfortable before the exam, one, and to be exam ready. Some things to be done before the exam, during the exam, post the exam. We'll discuss that as well. So we'll not select a topic and explain or cover that in detail. That's not required. You already know most of the topics, most of the chapters. So my point is to fine tune it. Some fine tune it, some tricks, how to approach. See, I can understand in maths or BCK or other chapters, the more you solve, you will get a hang of it. But in subjects like BCR, if you understand the logic and understand the concept, that is enough. You should know how to approach the question than solving 100 questions. Because as I also told in class, synonyms or antonyms, you solve 100 questions in class, exam only 101st question barod, right? So what's the point in solving 100 questions? I'm not saying don't solve it. But the more you solve, you will get a grip. How should you approach? And how should the, answers irutte. That will be your conclusion there. So we'll look at such tricks which will help you score marks, right? First question. Before I dive in, the first question. And I know what answers I will get, but I'm still checking once again. All of you unmute and answer at the same time. How much will you score in your BCR paper out of 40? Unmute and tell me. 40. Anyone says less than 40? No? So you know why I told 40, right? Your attitude, not only BCR. If I say accounts, score madtira, if Shetty sir asks, will you say 70, 80? No.
No, sir.
100. You will score 100. And the point is, again, when I tell this, there is a reason and there is a disadvantage also. Keep that in mind. Why I'm telling you score 40? I will score 40 in the bandre. That doesn't guarantee you 40 marks. Yes or no? It will not guarantee you. But you will aim for 40, you will get at least 35. Even if it's worst paper, 30, not less than that. But if your aim is only for 25, 30, your efforts will also be for 25, 30 only. And how much will you score eventually? 10 or 15. Is that enough for you?
No,
is
sir.
that enough? No chance. No chance, right? Similarly in accounts, when you say I'll score 100, will you score 100? Very difficult. You may. Not saying no, you may. You may score 90, 95, 85, 90, 80 at least. But if your aim is only say 60 bandre saku nange, 50 better, 60 bandre sak, 10 marks buffer. You think you'll score 60? No, why? Your efforts, you hakodu bari 60 marks matra. Your efforts will be towards getting 60, not scoring anything beyond that. Right? So always sit with the mindset that it is easy, I can score 40. But having said that, there is a warning here, statutory warning. Don't be overconfident. Right? Now, Shashank sir told in class, I will score 40. I will score 40. No, why should I study? Will that work? You will score 40 in Talal itkondu. What they draguta? No chance. So mindset should be like that. That I will score 40, I will score well. But along with that mindset, you should work hard also, no, towards that. If your mindset is getting 40, you should work towards getting 40. Your hard work should be all the more. But if your aim is only 30, you will work for 30 marks itself. So the higher your expectations are, the harder you will work. That is the point. Don't be overconfident saying that English is easy. If you have observed last attempt's paper, I mean, in every attempt, one paper will be difficult. Unfortunately, last term it was law and BCR. And many people scored less. I mean, law and BCR is not a paper you will score 80, 90, 100 easily. The marks comparatively will be less itself. Why did they score less? One is paper was a little difficult, fine. Second reason is overconfident. Again, English tane. What's there in that? That is overconfidence. You believing I will score 40 and working towards that scoring 40 is one thing. But what English tane, I will score 40 easily. That is wrong. You will never score 40, you will score 20, 30 only in that case. And second issue with this paper, specific paper, BCR, is you will write the paper, law and BCR, in whatever order, we'll discuss that. And you will come out and say, okay, I'm expecting good marks. You're expecting, say, 70, for example. You score 42. You say, I don't know where the marks went. Especially in BCR and sometimes in law, you feel that you have written the correct answers. But what happens? You would have written the wrong answer. You will not even know. The problem is overconfidence. I know active passive voice. I know direct indirect speech. You would know. But again, as you would have observed in class, especially E-class, the batch before this, where I had offline batch, I think Sai Tejaswini would know and others are here from that batch. When I asked the simple question, I asked, do you know active, passive, direct, indirect speech? People said yes. But when I asked a question, not even a single correct answer. And such type of questions will be answered in the exam, will be asked in the exam, right? So be very careful. Don't be overconfident. You know, fine, congratulations, but work hard. You're in exam paper, you think they'll ask you simplest of questions in direct, indirect, or active, passive voice, which you already know? No, there'll be some complication. Don't think I know everything in BCR, especially English. I can score. No, that attitude will not work, right? So no matter how much you know, practice. That is very, very important. Now, how to approach BCR and law paper. Now, before diving into the actual revision, I am discussing some ground rules, some basic rules. Okay. As you already know, people sometimes neglect BCR. How? I will tell you. What's your first paper? Paper number 1. Accounting. If I ask, you will say accounts. What's your second paper? Law.
Law.
Will you say BCR? No. Why this discrimination? Why focusing only on law and not on BCR? This happens in the exam also. You know how it happens? You will start writing. Are you done with the law R2C classes?
Yes,
No?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes.
Completed? Nothing pending?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So Mehul sir took? Mehul sir and
Yes, sir.
Rajdeep sir, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What did they tell about approaching law paper? Paper 2, which is basically paper 2. How should you approach it? Who will tell me? How should you approach paper 2? As in when you write law 60 marks, BCR 40 marks. So what will you do? How will you approach this? Who will tell me quickly?
May I, sir?
Go on.
Sir, as paper 2 is descriptive and not objective, last time when we wrote the mock test, what advice we got from Shetty sir was first start from BCR paper, because BCR is something like you can make it or leave it. it can make you to get the best marks, and it can also make you not to get marks, because everything we might be knowing, and same thing we may commit mistakes. So we need to start from BCR paper and then come to law.
Okay.
For BCR also, sir, most of the times, Chinmay Akka last time in last mock test told that most of the things like passage and all, we are not supposed to take the entire gist and then write. Rather, we can use the same words which is there in the passage. And the trick which she told us, at least try like writing first line first, and the middle take one line from each of the passage, and conclusion write on your own, so that they should feel that everything is there, but you have written it on your own. And the tricks which you told us to do is write one sentence and count approximately how many lines or how many words can fit in one line, and then count number of lines for 100 words or 200 words, so that it would be easy for you in exam rather than sitting and counting and wasting time in number of words.
Good. So we'll discuss that as well in detail in good length. So thanks for bringing that out. For people who don't know Sai Tejaswini, she was the offline batch when I took the class. And before I go further, I think Sai Tejaswini, I can see Amog here. Your results were out, no? 12th PUC, second PUC.
Yes, sir.
So congratulations to all of you. I see Viksha also here. Viksha also scored 594 or 3?
593.
593. So congratulations to all of you. I know some familiar faces. Sai Tejaswini, Viksha, Amog also scored good. Diksha, I think, right? So, I mean, my apologies if I missed any name. But for all of you who scored well, congratulations and a clap from my end. Now, how will this help you in your journey is, one, I can give you my own example. When I was writing the exam, I knew statistics very well. I was expert in statistics because my college teacher was very good. I went to the institute to take classes and the explanation was there. My friend who had come from science background, she started doing CA. She didn't know, so we met at the ICIS premise. We met in the library, sat on the stairs. We discussed. I taught her statistics and then I passed. So the advantage is, if you're doing multiple courses at the same time, if you study for one, that is enough. And if you study for CA course, your BCom is the piece of cake for you, right? I still remember, I am not lying, when I wrote my BCom exams, the day of the BCom exam, I used to see which subject that is. The morning, we had final year exams in the afternoon. I was also the president of the college. So I was busy with college activities as well. So I opened the books in the morning just to see which subject it is and look at the chapter names. Because practicals we know we can do, accounts, tax, all that. But theory, if they ask some organizational behavior or some economics related question, we may not be able to write on our own. So I used my CA knowledge there. So the advantage of doing multiple courses at the same time is this. So the point here is, don't abandon your other course because you're doing CA. Even though you're doing CA, you finished your 12th, you're doing foundation or intermediate, should not stop you from having another degree, right? Keep that in mind. It's very, very important, because no matter how good we are, many people sometimes can't finish, can't go over the line. And our case, God forbidden if that happens, you should have a basic degree at least, no? So think about that. Don't say I will not do a degree, I'll do only CA. No, have a degree also compulsory. Just deviated a bit. But coming back, as Sai Tejaswini mentioned, BCR is ignored. And I think I met few people there at CAPS Habba. Very less people from this batch came, I think, the previous CAPS Habba where we went. When I was about to leave, few girls came and spoke to me. They told me, the problem with paper 2 was that law we wrote, BCR, we started writing, we had 10 more marks to get. I could have written for 10 more marks, but there was no time. So I gave back the paper, knowing that I could have scored 10 more marks, but I did not write because I didn't have the time to write. Just imagine if this happens to you after paper number 2, Do you think you will have the mindset to write paper number 3? No, you will not. Because paper 3 and paper 4, you will not be looking at the questions. You will look at the question paper and say, Chah, I lost 10 marks there. I may not pass. What if I score 39? 49 barbodito, I scored 39. All this will creep into your mind. What happens eventually? Your paper 3 will not go on well. Right? First advice is never evaluate your paper after your exam. Once your exam is done, forget. You may score 90, you may score 20. Don't care. Just ignore that. Move on. Don't start. Even I have this habit. As soon as you came out, okay, each question I can get 3 out of 5. This question 5 on 5. This question 1 on 5. This question 2 on 5. You are late. Okay, each Bharata, I'll get 42. Oh, what if I get 39 by any chance? Oh, fail. Next paper 3, paper 4 gone. You will go with the mindset. And at paper 3 and paper 4, what happens is paper 2 anyways I will not pass. What's the point of writing paper 3 well? You will not write paper 3 also. But if you look at the result, you would have passed in paper 2, failed in paper 3. Imagine that will be your last C attempt in your life. You will never write that because you would be mentally down and no amount of motivation can bring you up after that. So all these small things, I know other faculties will also tell you, this will bring you down. I'm telling you this by experience only. Right? You know what happened when I wrote my inter paper, I thought I will flunk in costing. I wrote tax paper knowing that I will fail in costing. Anyways, I can't clear. I will just write something like that. Turns out I passed in both. And taxation, I got 41 or something. I barely passed. The paper was supposed to fail. Thankfully, I simply wrote time pass. Anyways, instead of going out, I simply wrote, I passed. What if I had not written only? Anyways, I would pass in paper 3. Why will I write paper 4? If I had thought about that, I would have never passed. Right? So don't think about passing or failing. Once you finish your paper, it's done. No matter how good or bad you write, it is done. Right? And coming specifically to paper 2, what will you do? My advice is, if given a chance, can you write law on your own or English on your own? English, right? Study is okay. Vocabulary, active, passive, direct, indirect speech, adike, no special classes required. You can write on your own. Law also, but you can't create your own sections and say as per this section. You can't make it up, right? What I would advise is nothing against law. If you want to start from the law paper itself, allot 1 hour for law. I don't know what Mehul sir or Rajdeep sir has told you. You can follow their advice as well. I would say it's up to you to take it. Allot 1 hour for the first paper you write, be it law, be it BCR. First hour for law, for example. What time your exam starts? 2 to 6, is that correct? 4 hours or 3 hours?
2 to 5.
2 to 5. 3 hours paper, right. So 2 to 3, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, only law. Finish as much as possible. And as I say, first impression is the best impression. What I would do is, when I get the paper, when you have the reading time, when I get the paper, just see. Usually I do this at the last page of my answer paper. I write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each question, how much will I get? Approximately, right? How much may I get from this question? I would personally do this. And the question which would give me the highest marks, I will start with that question. Because the examiner, when he evaluates your first answer, he should say, oh, wow, nice answer. And first marks, his impression on you will completely change. And sometimes subsequent questions, even if you write on your own, he may give you marks because he knows you're intelligent now. Because the first answer was very good. First impression, create that first impression. If you, out of say 5, if you write 3 questions well, you will get majority of the marks from 3 questions itself. 4th and 5th will be like a gamble for you if you don't know. That's why you have to to the end, right? As soon as it strikes 3 o'clock, close that paper. End of law for now. Close that paper, keep it aside. Start BCR. If you start with BCR, close BCR at 3 o'clock, start with law. First 1 hour, 1 paper. And at 3 o'clock, open BCR, start writing. Right? So 3 to 4, write BCR as much as possible. 4 o'clock, stop. You have 1 more hour now. Now you evaluate. Extra 1 hour, you still have to finish BCR, you still have to finish law. Both are left unfinished, which can give you more marks. Focus on that first, then go back to the other paper. So what happens here is, even if you leave 1 or 2 questions, you would lose hardly 2-3 marks because the questions you have left are the questions which would not give you much marks, more marks, right? You have written already what you know. Yen doubtful idyo, mostly correct, mostly wrong, you are ignoring such questions or leaving it to the end. And by chance you can't finish the paper, you are leaving those questions which would give you hardly 2-3 marks. Got the logic why I'm telling you this? So write all you know first. That's why I am against this concept of first finish the law paper, finish it, then move to BCR. No, I would say if at all you could not finish law, stop there. Focus on BCR. Write BCR. Then when you have time, go back to law. Other than 50-50 questions there, attempt that. Right? The reason I'm telling is many people came and told me, sir, when we finished the paper, we could not attempt many questions from BCR because we wrote law first. We wanted to get good marks in law, then get good marks in BCR, second step. But by the time we were about to finish BCR, we realized that we could not write 2 questions. 10 to 12 marks easily gone. And imagine if it happens to you, you will be heartbroken. 10, 12 easy marks. Will you say no? Don't do that. So no, I mean, write what you know first. I'm not saying write BCR first or law first. What do you write first? 1 hour. Second, other paper, 1 more hour. You have 1 more hour to write the third paper to finish. Some bit of balance of BCR, balance of law. Adrilunu, which questions may give you higher marks? Start with that first. Start with that paper first. Then move on to the other paper. Even though you can't finish, you would lose hardly a few marks because those questions would give you very less marks anyways. That's why I kept it for the end, right? Follow this approach. Never finish one paper. Don't take 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. for law. 4 to 5 BCR and you can never finish it. Easy questions you will ignore. You will not have time to write. What I'm saying? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Second, during the class, I've also repeated many times, take it from your mind that it is difficult. It should be easy. All the papers are easy. Many people may tell you later, oh, foundation, very difficult, you can't clear. They are telling you because they can't do it. That's why you are doing it because you can. Yes or no? Prove them wrong. Don't fall into their trap. They can only talk, they can't do. Right? So prove them wrong. That should be your attitude. Don't say, okay, I think I can't do. What if I fail? I told you my own example. Many people told me you can't. What happened with me? I went and wrote saying, when I write for the second or third attempt, I will pass, so I'll get some experience. And this experience I will use in the third attempt, not even second attempt. I thought I will fail in the second attempt also. When I write the third attempt, I know what experience to take. So this attempt and next attempt is experience for my third attempt. And I passed. We had only MCQs, we didn't have descriptive value. And I passed. Imagine, what if I had studied? This thing will haunt me for the rest of my life. If I had studied, I would have got a rank. It still haunts me, right? So don't fall into the traps. Don't let anyone bog you down. You know your capabilities, focus on that. Let anyone say anything, don't bother. If you don't go with a positive mindset, you can never pass. It should come from within. I may tell you something, Shetty sir may tell you, Aman sir, SMS sir, they may tell you, motivate you enough. It's of no use unless it comes from within, right? Is that clear? Okay. Having said that, we will directly jump on to today's actual revision pertaining to the subject. Before that, anything you want to discuss? Any general points you want to discuss pertaining to exam, or because most of you are writing for the first time, there may be some people who are repeating as well. I'm not sure. You may not have seen an exam, how it happens, or what should we do. If you want any general tips or tricks before I share the screen, let me know. I can discuss that with you.
Sir, usage of reading time.
Usage of reading time. So what I would do usually is, you would get a paper at 1:45. Yes. At 2 o'clock, you should start writing. Whatever happens. And when they say 1:45 reading time, it's not that you go to the hall at 1:45. You be there very early. Once they give the paper at 1:45, reading time should start at 1:45 sharp. Your writing time should start at 2 o'clock sharp. The minute you waste after 2 o'clock, so for example, every minute you waste after 2 o'clock, you can think that many marks you will lose. Because what we do is, in the beginning, we write the lines, we put lines. Presentation is important, no? First impression. Accounts paper also, we draw lines, debit, credit lines, journal entry lines, decoration, everything is done. But when we try to finish the paper, from that beautiful paper which we see on, say, the first paper, The last few papers will be like doctor's handwriting, doctor's prescription. Sometimes we ourselves can't understand what we have written. Imagine the Papa invigilator, the corrector. How can he understand what you have written? Even I have made the same mistake. I'll just scribble something like this. Some, like heartbeats, that heart graph, whatever you say. I can't read what I've written. What about his condition? This will happen if you waste more time in the beginning. Having said the fact that presentation is important in the first part, for me, I would advise as a general point for all the papers, your content is primary. Presentation is secondary. But it is incomplete without the presentation. Right? What would I'm saying? Content is the key. Content is the main thing. Content is what will give you marks. Presentation comes secondary. But having said that, without presentation, your content is incomplete. I'll give you an example. Accounts, for example. You're supposed to write a ledger account. In the first page, if you neatly draw the ledger account with tables, presentation is superb. Without content, will you get any marks? No, there's nothing there. On the contrary, you write all the, say, debit side, credit side, headings, everything is done, but lines are not drawn. Assume it's a 10-mark question. Will you get 10 marks? But at least you have written something. At least you have written something, you may get 8, for example. But once you draw those lines, see, lines are secondary, but the better presentation there is, better marks you would get. So I would say when you start writing, first, even though people say first impression, lines, draw lines and all that, write first. Because writing is what will give you marks. Towards the end, start drawing the lines. Right? Second, about the reading time. As I told you, 2 o'clock you should start writing. If you start at 2:02, you will lose 2 marks. That's how your mentality should be. If you start at 2:10, you will lose 10 marks. Because last marks kododu. First, you will take extra time, unnecessary time to present, extra beautiful presentation. Last, you will write more without presentation. Eventually, that will only give us more marks. But start at 2. So what I would do usually is, as soon as I get the paper, just read once. Just read the entire paper with an open mind. Don't start recollecting the answers then and there. Just with an open mind, read all the questions. And what I would do is, the last page I told you, question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would see which question would give me more marks without digging in detail. I would see which question would give me more marks. I will start with that question first. I mean, I'll write an order also. Order number 1, question number 3 is first, question number 6 is second, question number 1 is third, question number 4 is fourth. I will write in that order. And once I'm about to write, say I'll spend the last 3 to 4 minutes, say 155 to 156 to 157 onwards, I will focus on the first question which I'm about to write. And once they say 2 o'clock, once they give you the answer paper, you write on that. And immediately I'll start answering because I have fresh in my mind. The last 2-3 minutes I dedicated only for the first question which I'm writing on the paper. But if you generally look at all 7 questions, then say, okay, I'll write this question now. You will again waste more time in thinking. First question. Even though you have 15 minutes for reading, keep 10 minutes for reading. The balance 4 to 5 minutes to think about the first question, first and second question which you will write, so that when you start writing, you're already in a good flow. You will not waste more time. You may not realize why I'm telling you this, why I'm stressing on this, but you will realize this when you start writing early and you follow this. Last early, you have time, you do proper revision, you finish the paper. That is when you realize the importance of starting on time, right? And the importance of reading also. Last, if not 5, at least 3 minutes, keep it to look at the first and second question you write. Once you start writing, you're already fresh from the flow of thoughts, start writing it, right? So because we spoke about revision, this may happen with you in many cases. Why is this revision class important? And as you know, many other classes, they will finish the class. Many other institutes will finish the course and no revision, no R2R, no R2C, nothing. So you are actually lucky that all these courses are being done for you, for your own benefit. Why? If you don't revise, classically you have 100% attendance. You have answered all questions correctly. As soon as I taught in the class, you went back home, revised that day. Fine, you know everything, very good. You will not revise before the exam. You see the question, for example, characteristics or barriers in communication, 5 marks. Example, you will say, easy question. I've already read this 2 months back. Fine, I will get 5 on 5 in this. Once you start writing, okay, answer to question number so and so, barriers to effective communication are first one. What is this? What is this? You will start thinking. You will start panicking. It will not come at that point of time. You can't remember it. This is what happens if you don't revise. You may have studied 100 times without revision. It is absolute waste. Absolute waste. Without revision, you have to study 200 times for that matter. Study time only. Before the exam, if you don't revise, it is absolute waste. You may say, a question odidini ashte, but you will not recollect the answers there. One, because of the pressure of the exam also. You will think about all the things. Oh, what will my father say? How much will he get, my friend? Will he score more than me? Or first time exam barite. All these unnecessary thoughts will come to your mind. And e-thoughts you will start losing the focus and you will not remember easily. So without revision and adding on to this, either unnecessary, unwanted thoughts, jotege revision madilla andre, it's absolutely useless what you have studied. Right? That is the reason these classes are very, very important. And what we are doing now is not the end. R2C class is done. Fine. Next, I will open the book only one day before the exam, and it will not work. This is like a stepping stone for you. As faculties, we will tell you how to do and what to do and how to approach. But the actual hard work is to be done by you itself, right? You should study once again. If you don't study, this R2C is also a waste. I will give it to you in writing. If you don't practice what is taught here, it is a waste. Got it? Okay. I saw a message here. Sir, we have time 24 May to 24 June. How to utilize the 30 days more effectively, sir? I will not answer this because Shetty sir has already prepared a schedule for you. Has he? I think he has prepared a schedule for you till your exam.
Yes,
I
sir.
believe you have not seen that. I will, whoever it is, I know the name, I will not read it out loudly now. Ask in the group once or someone post it in the group once again. Shetty sir has prepared a poster and sent it to you. Share that with the class group once again so that you would practice the same. He has done thorough research. He has given it to you. I can't contribute more than what he has done research on. So I will leave it to Shetty sir's judgment. Whatever he says, follow that. He has given equal weightage. I have seen that it's very impressive because firstly, he has followed one order, then second revision reverse order, then again normal order. So it's properly planned. Only thing is implementation is pending from your end. I think follow what Shetty sir has told. It is very, very effective, right? Focus on all subjects. Don't ignore BCR. BCR is like a cash cow. You know it is there. Kai hakadre sigutte, but ನೀವು ಕೈ ಹಾಕಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. That is the problem. Right? So that is the problem with BCR. Focus on BCR as well. If you ask me, I would just start with BCR only. Then at law. Because guaranteed marks bande barutte nimge BCR alli. Law only can you say as per section 78 of the Companies Act? No. And in law, you would have stressed on enough. Never quote wrong sections in law. And it's not my subject. Never quote wrong sections in law. Your answer may not be valued only. Right? Your content will be correct. But section number is wrong. They will not look at your marks because section is only wrong. Keep that in mind. In case by chance, worst case, you forget the section number when you're writing, say as per the provisions of the Act generally, which is wrong, but at least that is better than quoting a wrong section and not evaluating your marks. This is from my understanding and my judgment. Okay, let me share the screen. Any other questions? You can interrupt me and ask. I don't like to say wait till the end of the class and then ask. No, you can stop me anytime and ask the question if you want. So the screen is visible, I suppose. Can someone confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've already discussed this enough in class. Offline batch, I've written this on the board and explained chapter by chapter what is important. I've written it on the board and explained for offline batch. For online batch, I have shown a similar slide and I've explained. So before jumping in, you should know what you are studying. Am I clear? Don't directly open the book. Say, for example, after a long time opening the BCR book today, if you open the book randomly, okay, this chapter is Odana. No, that should not be your mindset. What will be your mindset? Why are you studying this chapter? How many marks? What is the significance? Yesterday, exam only. Is this format based? Is it concept based? Creative based? This you should know first. Because see, format based, I mean, I will directly jump. What do you mean by format based? So format is prescribed. You should follow the format, fill in the blanks. Yes or no? Here, your effort should be on knowing the format. Fill in the blanks comes later. Use your judgment, fill in the blanks. So don't use more time here. Instead, you can use more time for concepts, because conceptually there is no format as such. This is what will give you marks. So focus more on this. This is where you'll make mistakes also. You should focus more on this. First thing you should do is SWOT analysis. More than that, say strength and weakness analysis. What are you good at in English? Are you really good in English? If yes, is it about vocabulary chanagidira, or are you very creative? You can write long essays, debate competition chanag martira, or you can create stories and write something on spot. Or what is that you're very good at? Strengths. Know that first. Introspect. Maadi. Don't focus too much on that, because you already know about that. No. Yes, because you already know, you're already good at that. But you should focus on the weakness. Where are you weak at? Is your vocabulary very good? No. I mean, I'm just saying, if it is no, do you think you're not very creative to write essay writing a random topic? Do you think can you write for at least one page? If you say no, or in a report or will words come out of your mouth easily? No. So sit back and think first. What is yes? What is no? What are your strengths? What are your weakness? Focus on the weakness first. Strengths, anyways, you know you are good at. I'm not saying ignore that. Last till madi. Focus on your weakness. English baralva, vocabulary odi. Practice more every day for 1 hour. Vocabulary. Direct, indirect speech, active, passive voice. Read. Communication chapter. 5 marks minimum you will get. Free 5 marks. Each and every question will have one bit of communication. Every question in BCR will have some essence of communication chapter. So never ignore that chapter. Focus more on that. Never by heart. Understand the logic with the help of examples, scenarios, right? And using all those, understand. I will give some more tricks later when I start. So you should be in a position to judge yourself first before you start studying. Where are you good at? Where you think you may lose marks at BCR? Where you think you will score more? Where you will score more, concentrate last. Where you will lose out, focus more on that, right? Now, if you think, as I mentioned, concepts based, you are very weak at, focus there first. If you think you're not very creative, or you can't write too much, you can't think on spot, focus on articles and reports. Or if you think summary madak baralla or note making baralla, focus there first. If you don't know much, focus there first. Then your attention should be to other chapters. Never leave a single chapter in BCR. I will not say this for other subjects, but BCRL at least never leave a single chapter out. Because if you look at this, all the chapters are covered here. Any chapter which is missing here from a BCR content, any chapter missing here? No, all the chapters are here. If you look at it, formal letters, official communication, email writing, resume writing, meetings, communication is the first chapter, comprehension is the fourth, I think, vocabulary, third chapter, direct, active, passive voice, articles, reports, writing related, summary writing, press writing, note making, everything is covered. Each and every chapter has a weightage. I know in some cases it's either articles or reports. What if you study articles but you get reports there? Will you get marks? No. So when it's either this or that, there is no point in focusing only on one. What if Lakshanagalda inond banbitre? Right? So never leave any chapter. And even if you are not very good at that, read as much as you can, study as much as you can. What if you get an easy question from that chapter which you're about to leave? You will still score marks, right? So never leave a single chapter. First step is format based. Under that, we have formal letters. We have 7 types, which we'll discuss later in detail. 7 types of letters is there. So what comes in each type, we'll have to focus on that part in that particular type. So general content of letter writing
from date to
yes.
So
from date to salutation, subject, body, content, then closing, your thankfully, whatever, the all types of letters, this is the crux. Skeleton is this. What will change is the actual content, how to approach and how to go ahead. So whenever I'm explaining any chapter, open your LMR book as well. For both the batches, I have told. In case someone who was from the online batch, not the previous batch, the previous to previous online batch, you may or may not have an LMR book because I didn't take your class. But previous online batch, the latest online batch, and last to last offline batch, you would have maintained LMR. Keep that also in front of you. Keep your materials in front of you. Relate. Relate, open that book, write something new again if you have missed out something. Have it like a proper revision, right? So 7 types of letters, we'll discuss that detail. Crux is same, skeleton is same. Content depending on each type of letter asked in the question, your content may change a bit. How to approach, we'll see later. Official communication, memos and circulars. Two types of official communications is there. Memos and circulars. What is the difference? Formatally, we'll have to fill it in. Very easy. Email writing, just like a letter writing, but digitally. To CC, BCC, subject, body, conclusion. That. Resume writing. I have all shown you practically some resumes in class for all the batches I know. Practically, I've shared the screen for online batches. Offline also, I've shared the screen using PPT. We have discussed many types of resumes, the do's and don'ts of resumes as well. I have gone one step further and told you how should it be for exam, how should it be post-exam also, which is not relevant for you now for the exam. That is also very, very important. So starting with some silly things like your email ID. Remember this discussion? All your funky email IDs with long numbers, pet names. Weeksha is here. If you say Weekshu or Weeku or something, no, not allowed. Rakshita is here. Rakshu, not allowed. Full name, full surname. If it's not available, combination here and there, maximum of 2 numbers. It should look professional because the first thing people see in your resume is your name, your email ID, and they will not concentrate on that. It will fall into their eyes. And once they look at the email ID, you should look professional as well. If it says cool boy, cool hunk, something at gmail.com, he will think you are still childish, you are rejected. They will be searching for ways to reject you. And if you feed them with a way to reject you, is it worth it? No. So, I mean, I've discussed it in detail in class, but what should your focus be on? Your name, email ID, phone number on top, then objective one-liner. Again, we have content in detail. I'm just summarizing with the bird's eye view. And then comes your objective. There are 3 types of resumes: education qualification, then comes your skills, then comes your awards, achievements, then comes personal details, then your declaration. This is the format used. I have also told you beyond the exam, never have personal details as such, your marital status or nationality, or it's not, and declaration, it's not required. But for exam point of view, keep it. But beyond exam, keep this point in mind as well. So we have looked at both theoretically from exam point of view and from practical point of view as well. Meetings. What do you mean by meetings? How do people meet? What happens before the meeting, during the meeting, after the meeting? What happens before the meeting? What report will we prepare? What will we prepare before the meeting? Full answer.
Schedule of the meeting.
What is it called?
Agenda.
Agenda. Agenda. Prepared before the meeting, send it to all the attendees. What do we prepare during the meeting? Actually nothing, but we'll take down minutes. We'll write down the minutes, and once the meeting is done, the minutes will be shared to all the attendees. And what happens after the meeting? What will we prepare? ATR, action taken report. So what did we discuss in the meeting? How much did we fulfill and finish? What was the deadline? What is the status as of now? It's called as action taken report. And the problem here is, if you don't know how this agenda looks or how the minutes look, it will be very difficult for you to answer in the exam. That is the reason I showed you the actual agenda, showed you the actual minutes. Remember or no? Because once you see it practically, no need to study once again, because it's very easy. You'll understand logically how it is done or what it is. Logically, if you know the concept, it's very easy to solve. So even in today's class, I will show you the latest meetings of my Toastmasters Club meeting and what happened with the minutes. ATR we don't have, but ATR we'll discuss it practically. It will be a very nice revision for you. So format based is where you can score very good marks. You should only fill in the blanks. The only problem is you should know what to fill in the blanks. That is what will score you marks. Out of 5, letter writing, when you write everything, you will score at least 1 or 2 marks without much content. Once you add content, you will score 5 on 5. So the content is very important, but you will get some marks for formats as well. That is format based. Here focus will be on the fill in the blanks, not the format. Format is there, you know, but fill in the blanks is where you will get marks here. Second, concepts related. Communication. There are very common questions asked. We'll discuss that when we start this. Focus on that. Easy chapter. Never leave a single word from this chapter. They may ask from any part of the book. So 5 marks. They will ask 1 or 2 mark questions from each question. Never leave this chapter. Very, very easy. comprehension, your first question, first compulsory question is comprehension. You know what it is. Passage kodtare, you will have to write the answers there. The answers are given in the passage. You will have to search and write. Tricks, techniques, we'll see. Vocabulary 5 to 7. This is where you can either get marks, or if you're unlucky, you will not get marks. It's not in your control. Right? As we discussed, famished. Till I explained the meaning of famished to you, did you know what
No, sir.
it meant? No, even I didn't know. If I was writing the exam, if the invigilator had given me famished, I would have lost marks, right? So it's like bandre bantu hodre hoitu, but focus on this. Practice as much as possible if you are weak at vocabulary. Then comes direct to indirect speech and active passive voice. This is where you may lose marks because of your overconfidence, right? Ashtetana direct act now school in the othkond barta idini. I'm studying this from school and college. Very easy. I'll ignore this. I'll focus on others. Andre gone. Right? Simple mistakes are done here. We'll discuss that towards the end. What mistakes you do and how to approach this. But keep in mind, very easy. Chance of mistakes are also more here. And because it's very easy, the chapter itself is very easy. They will not give you easy questions as well. Then it may be tricky. Focus on how to approach that. We'll discuss that towards the end. Third section is creative or content writing. What does this mean? Articles kodtare, to write an article or a report. Article andre writing your own words what happened, and report is a report of what happened earlier. For example, we attended CAP Sabha 3 months back. Write a report on that andre past tense alli eni naitu, because it's a report on whatever has happened earlier already, right? So the eni naitu anta you mostly past tense will be used. We'll write a report based on what has happened. Article is a general, like an essay, which will have its structure. There is no rule as such, but it will follow a structure: introduction, body, conclusion. We'll discuss that also in detail. This is where our English skills or language skills are tested. How well we write. So if you are weak at writing good, using good words, something, start reading. Read as many articles and reports as possible. If you are weak at creating your own words or writing something. If I ask you to write, for example, an essay of how will India be at 2050? Write in your own words. Can you write 2 pages easily? If yes, very good. Don't give too much attention here. If you think I can fill in half page, 1 page, I can't write more because the words are not coming out of your mind easily, Andre. It's not coming to paper, Andre. Read more articles, read more reports. You will get a grip of how to write. Just read, don't write. Just read more articles, more reports. Use all the materials, I mean, institute material, your RTPs, mock MTPs, your other references. Read as many reports, articles as possible. You will get the hang of it. And sometimes what happens is, any question given, you will have some fixed sentences ready. Yaude bandruno, you can write that. Like I gave the example of essay on cow. Right? It was leaked that the teacher will ask you to write an essay on cow. You prepared overnight about cow, but later they asked the question of the about the tree. Actually, I told ulta, but anyways, tree ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. What will you do then? A tree ಗೆ ಒಂದು cow ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು and start reading about the cow. You give a reference there. Cowನ tree ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಈ cow ಹಿಂಗಿತ್ತು and focus on the cow. Or vice versa also. You prepared on tree, cow ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು, this cow was straight to the tree ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರೆದ್ರು. So you should know how to link between this. There will be, see, as say someone who's joined a club and who's good at writing speeches, I know how it's done. That's why I'm telling you some things. There may be some common themes which you can use for all answers. For example, letter writing. Conclusion may be same for all, similar for all. When you read more, you will get a grip of what could be the nice conclusions to end a letter writing or email writing chapter. Use that, right? So common themes. This will happen, say, with more practice, more reading, more study. You will get a fair idea of what are the frequently used concluding lines. You can start using that, right? Next comes summarizing. This is where something is already there. You are just condensing it. This is where they will test you how focused you are, right? What will they test you? On how focused you are. How will you keep all the relevant stuff? How will you ignore all unrelevant items? This is what will be tested, right? So again, summary writing, you know what it is. This will mostly be asked in the first question itself, in the comprehension. They may ask you to write a summary. They will give a nice comprehension passage, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs. They may ask you to write a summary or précis writing. Again, 1/3 of the passage. Again, there are some tricks for you to not waste time. We'll discuss that as well later. Essay writing keltare, write in your words, condense it to 1/3. Note making using linear, non-linear, etc. How to make notes, that. So this is this type of chapter where answer is already there. This is to see how focused you are. What to select, what to ignore. This is summary based. Creative, using own words. Concepts, nothing own, everything as it is. 1 + 1 is equal to 2. There is no other answer there. 1 + 1 is equal to 2. No other options, answers possible. Format based, formats irutte, you will have to fill in the blanks. Now you go back after today's class, see which is your forte. Where are you best at? Right? Don't start with that, leave it to the end because you already know, or don't waste too much time there. Right? Now, if your mother tongue is Kannada, for example, you are not very good at English. Do you want to improve your English or do you want to improve your Kannada? English, because the mother tongue is Kannada, you know Kannada. What's the point in improving what you already know? Instead, focus on where to improve. So I'm not saying don't ignore, don't follow that, don't ignore that. I'm not saying that. Focus a little bit, last a little bit. But your first focus should be on where to score marks. Where you're losing, how to overcome that. Anta. So focus. Are you good at format-based letter writing? Focus last. Creating baralva, focus there first. English baralva, focus on concepts first. You don't know how to summarize focus ilva, focus on summarizing first. But focus in one order. Don't leave any chapter behind. Right? Okay, so as we move forward, again, as I told you, it's almost 1 hour. Right? If you observe, it's 5:29 now, and we have just begun the actual revision. There's no point in going in depth there because most of it we already know. So we'll focus on where you are losing or some tricks and tips in between and some questions here and there. And if I think you are confused somewhere, we'll go in detail, or else we'll quickly hurry up, right? And I still remember some people who had attended the previous R2C had used the same slide. I know you would answered as well. You can still answer. You know what questions are asked, what the slides contain. You can still answer. My intention here is this should be a discussion. I will not be explaining anything once again. You will be explaining this. So in case you already forgot, class admele BCR book open madilla anta, if you are in that situation, okay, no problem. But refresh your memory now. Start thinking and try attempting it now. The problem is if I tell you what the answer is, for example, communication. What is communication? If I tell you, what will happen? It will come out of this year. You are not giving that effort. That attention is not given. But I want you to answer. That is how you will start recollecting it. Revision annodi, not me telling you. It's about you revising it once. I am only here to guide you. If you don't tell it out and revise it on your own, it's of no use. Or else I'm writing the exam for me to revise on my own. No, why should I only tell and you listen? I'm not writing the exam. You are writing the exam. So technically you should be revising it, not me, right? So I'll just be guiding you. You should be revising it. I will not pick and choose anyone. Anyone can unmute. You can answer. And we'll keep it short. We'll move fast. In case I see a mistake or issue somewhere, we will then dig deep, right? So quickly, communication. Who will answer quickly without wasting much time? What is communication? What will you write? What is the essence here? What is the takeaway? Quickly, someone fast. Exchange of information. Okay.
Process of exchanging information from sender to receiver.
Okay. Then anything else? Anyone else?
Emotions, feelings, thoughts.
Emotions, feelings. Okay. Then others.
Communication is completed when once the sender receives the feedback.
Once the sender receives the feedback. Okay. So it's not that I'm only telling you. You should also understand what I'm telling. That's the point of this. Then anything else? It may be verbal, non-verbal as well. It should be effective as well. What do you mean by effective communication? Communication may happen. Communication means I am taking a class. This is oral communication. Is there any problem there? No. I'm taking a class is oral communication. But is it effective communication or no is very important. That is effective communication. I'm only talking something for 3 hours. You're not listening. That is communication. That is oral communication. That is not effective communication. Right? So effective communication andre I am telling you something with one interpretation and one intention. You should also understand with the same interpretation. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೋ ನೀವು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೋ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that is not effective communication, right? Okay, then anything else? Broad categories or types of communication based on medium, based on style. So quickly, who will run through? Verbal. Let us start with verbal. Not detailed explanation not required, but I'll tell you where to focus on once you answer what is right and what is wrong. Verbal means using words. What are the two types? Anyone, quickly?
Written and
Written
oral.
and oral forms.
Written means?
Which is
Emails,
written.
letters.
It
And
is
in oral,
expressed in terms
we
of
use
words.
speeches, seminars, etc.
Okay. So in oral, what will you focus on? How can oral communication be effective? It may be a question. That's why I'm pointing out words where you can get questions.
Vocabulary, using an
Yes.
vocabulary which is understood by the receivers.
Correct. Right.
Simultaneous
Then
also.
Using simple words
simple
and knowing
words.
the interest of our receivers.
Yes. Then here oral
We should
communication or
understand
body
the
language also
mindset
comes into
of
picture.
receiver.
Yes, correct. Our body language also comes into picture. The way we use hands, our body, our presentation, the way we look also matters, right? I can still give an example of my first. I have not given this example, but I have given similar examples. My first ever class as a trainer was in a big university. It's a famous university in Bangalore itself. I had gone with my partner to give a presentation on a topic on GST. So my partner had gone there already. He is an experienced person. He had gone there already. I went before the meeting starts, but after him. So I went to the seminar hall wherever it was done. It was for PG, post-graduation students of that university on a topic on practical issues of GST. So I went there, and then it was supposed to happen in a seminar hall. So I went there, and some teacher coordinator was standing there. I was wearing a normal formal dress, formal shirt, formal pant. That's all. Nothing extra. No coat, no blazer, nothing. A formal shirt, formal pant, decent looking, formal wear, formal shoes, everything formal. I went and told, is the presentation happening here? Yes, yes, go fast and sit. Go to the last bench. There is place at the back. Why are you late? We still had 5 more minutes, but probably they had a rule for the students saying come 5 minutes early and be seated before the faculty comes. I went and asked him. He said, yeah, there is place at the back. Go and sit there. He thought I'm a student. PG student, being there to attend the class, not take the class. Then I had to tell him, no, I'm a trainer. I'm with the other faculty. I'm here to take the class. No. So the way we present also talks about who we are. It also tells the other person. And believe it or not, it happens in real life. People judge us by the way we dress also. Imagine me coming in the normal pants or taking class in front of you. Will that have that effect? No. But imagine I wear a blazer or a suit or a waistcoat and come. Suddenly that impression is different. Right? So the way we dress also matters, the overall presentation, the language we use. Offline batch will remember the example of moving the podium. If I tell you, hey, you come move the podium, you will say, how dare you talk to me like this? That will be your reply. You will not tell it loudly, but teacher. But the moment as a teacher only I tell you, hi, can you please move the podium? Yes, sir, please, sure, I will do it. Noticing language. This is called as the language we use. So all these are points under oral communication, right? These are verbal where we are using words. Next, non-verbal communication. What does this mean? Without words, but it will tell a lot. There are 5 aspects here. Someone quickly start with the first one, physical non-verbal. What does that mean?
Sir, our gestures, the way we use our hands, the way we use our own appearance to say something, sir. And it also includes the symbols which will be there, sir, like don't go left. If a police does that day you had mentioned that in our offline class, sir, he was collecting fine from you, but due to the camera, front camera which is there, he actually did not say you anything, but his appearance,
His gestures.
Sir.
So I gave the same example in the next batch as well. Do you remember that example? The police catching me before I attended my first class at CAPS.
Yes,
it was
sir.
for their batch only. Sai Tejaswini's batch. I went 10 minutes late because the police caught me. 5 to 10 minutes. Huh? What? Repeat, Kelchila. Anyways, so when I say non-verbal communication, you know what example comes to your mind, right? Non-verbal means the police showing this 3 at the dance matkondu. I mean, you can't see because the background is blur. The way he's standing suddenly sidely angle, with the side, he belly dancer 3 into the side. Did he say that give me 300 rupees as bribe? No. Did I understand? Yes. Effective communication, non-verbal. Without him telling, I understood. This is non-verbal communication, but also effective communication, right? Without our intention, unintention, interpretation, we understood. There was also an instance in the same example, same story. When I was talking to the main police, he told me after I discussed the problems with him, saying I'm a trainer, first class, they will not call me again. He then told me, "Oh, constable, I thought he is satisfied and the board was also faulty. He is sending me to the constable to collect the keys." When I went to the constable, he told me, I told him, he asked me to collect the key from you. Key kodi. Key collect madake. Fine togola kalsid ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ. Told no. I told him the problem. He didn't understand. He understood the issue, so he asked me to collect the key from me. Go kelkondu baro hatra once. I went and spoke to the inspector once again. He is not giving the key. You asked me to collect the key from him. He is telling me who was due to collect the key. He only told go to him. I interpreted something else. I thought he's sending me to collect the keys. Was this effective communication? No. So
No, sir.
Here he used words. I heard those words, but even using words, the communication was not effective. But at that 3 gesture, no words used, but it was effective. So the conclusion here is having words sometimes does not mean that you understand everything. The way we tell it, that also matters, right? Non-verbal andre, the example comes to mind is 3. Without using words, using our gestures, our body language, we will communicate. Next, paralanguage. What example we use?
This you had mentioned as the example, like Rajdeep sir did not tell me that he beats his wife. Stressing of words.
Did I use the same example in the last batch also? Viksha, did I use the same example?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So there we focused on 2 aspects. One is stress word. How to stress on some words and how to focus on some words, and how by stressing on a different word, the meaning only will be different, right? When it comes to paralanguage, we will tell something, but the meaning will be something else. It may be interpreted in a different way. I also gave one more example. If you remember the example of my wedding, all of you know that I'm married. No? Yes. All of you know.
No,
So when in fact, it happened in the same class itself in the offline batch. When I told them I'm married, they told me, "Oh, what does that oh mean?" It may mean, "Oh, he is married so soon, so young," or "Oh, unicorn kodtare, who will give a girl to him," or "Oh, chance miss agoytu." So there may be many interpretations for the same meaning, for same word, right? This is called as paralanguage. It happens in everyday life. The only thing is we will not focus on it. If I tell my wife, I'm looking very handsome today, right? She'll say, "Howdu, howdu." What does that mean? Howdu means yes, yes. She's telling yes, but is she meaning yes? No. Howdu sarcastically means howdu, neevu chana kandange. That means no, you're not anta. So sarcastically we'll use something, but in fact the meaning will be completely different. That is called as paralanguage. Appearance. Already discussed the way we look. Then aesthetic.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in paralanguage, can we use the example of using the punctuation marks in a sentence besides different words? Usage of
when you use
commas in a
punctuation
sentence.
marks, there'll be meaning to it. For example, instead of saying hooray, we passed, hooray is there, but the problem is hooray will have one meaning. But here the main focus on paralanguage should not be on the, in fact, in the previous batch, what's your name? Who asked this question?
Shamuja, sir.
Okay. So in the previous batch, someone else had asked me a question. If you are saying it is non-verbal communication, which is without words, why are we using words then? Not how the is also a word. Yes, yes. Am I looking good? Yes, yes. Yes is also a word. So when we are saying non-verbal communication, why are there words being used? Was the question. Is that a valid question? What is the answer to this? Why are we using words then? So the focus here is not on the word, is on the tone or the expression used. But when we use an exclamation mark somewhere, for example, hooray, we passed, that will have one meaning only. But mostly in case of paralanguage, the meaning may be completely different also, right? For example, what can I say? That example where I may interpret in 3 different senses. Or am I looking handsome? Yes, yes. Are you meaning yes? No, I'm saying yes, but it's actually no. So literal meaning is something else, figurative meaning is something else. That is the actual definition of paralanguage, right?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay. Next, aesthetic. Anyone quickly, fast.
Like from dance and painting, we can communicate some information through that.
Your voice broke, I think. We cannot hear properly. Can you repeat?
The communication through the art, like dancing, painting.
Okay. So it's an art. So you may paint and express your opinions. You may dance and put it out. Then last one.
So like Dasra and all, we'll have lots of taboos, no sir. There, it is just an art form, but it means a lot, no sir. Meaning can be conveyed. That is the example.
Correct. Next, symbols.
So just like when we have a signal, like even if we go for if it is a circle, U-turn is there, and one scratch is there on that. It is saying that there is no U-turn. It is just a symbol, but we can understand that we are not supposed to take a U-turn there.
Okay. So what's the difference between symbols and visual communication? What's the question?
Like ads, we can communicate this information.
Sorry?
In advertisement, we can convey this some information.
Okay. Okay. What is that? Is it visual or symbols?
Visual symbols.
Okay. Is there any difference there?
Yes, sir.
Symbols
What is
can
that?
be fixed.
Visuals are? I didn't hear you.
So visuals are like presentation or a short video form, but symbols are fixed ones which can be used to convey them at a
Okay.
particular.
So symbols may be religious symbols or other type of symbols, but when it say visual, it will aid in other forms of communication as well, using PPTs or pie charts,
Graphs.
right? Yes, all those are called as visual mode of communication. It will aid in your written communication also, right? Any other examples there we discussed in class? Mobile phones, remember? Will we say mobile phones are banned or no smoking? We'll use some diagrams or visual effects instead of telling it. So it will also aid, and sometimes words are also not required in such cases. Okay. Next, based on style of communication. Quickly, here let us not take more than 2 minutes, very quickly.
Sir, in this formal means it follows some rules and regulations according to an organization's format. In that we have 3 kinds: vertical, means like if a CEO says about the rules and regulations to an employee that he must follow all these procedures while getting admitted into an organization or during retirement, it would be formal, and in that it is vertical. Whereas horizontal, we have 3 managers, say like sales manager, production manager, purchase manager. They all communicate so that all the activities must go on simultaneously. That is horizontal communication, where all the people are in the same level. And in diagonal, here the level is not important, whether top level, middle level, or operational level. It can be from top to middle, or from top to organizational level, or operational level to top level. It can be diagonal, and here level is not in a sequential manner.
Okay, levels are in sequential manner, communication is not in a sequential manner. Right.
Okay.
So here the focus in your case, when you write the answer here, they may ask the difference between formal or informal or types of formal communication. Right. Vertical means top to bottom, bottom to top. Right. From CEO, it will come to the finance head, then finance manager, then associate, then intern, and ulta also from intern to associate to team lead to finance manager. It will go in this order. Horizontal means the people who are conversing, the levels will be same. For example, sales manager communicating with purchase manager or procurement manager, or one employee under one department talking to the same level manager in the same department. So this will be horizontal communication, equal line. Diagonal means your sales manager is talking to the purchase department executive, or your procurement manager is talking to marketing department intern. So there is no order or chain of command as such, right? So focus on the word chain of command as well. What do you mean by chain of command? The hierarchy. Official hierarchy is called the chain of command. So in vertical, use the word chain of command, and yeah, in diagonal, you will not be following the chain of command, but in fact, you will talk like diagonal. He will talk with him, he will talk with her. You will not follow the chain of command. Here, when you write the answer, they may ask you for 2 marks. What do you mean by vertical, horizontal, diagonal, informal, formal, whatever. Write one extra line about that. Is there any advantage of this? Is there any disadvantage? What's the advantage of vertical communication? What's the disadvantage of vertical communication? Write 1 or 2 lines. What is the most important one? You write. For example, vertical, it takes too much time, very time consuming. Yes or no? If the CEO has to tell it's a holiday or I'm giving you a raise to the intern, CEO will first tell the finance head, he will tell the assistant manager, he will tell the team lead, he will tell the associate, he will tell the intern. There's a lot of time waste happening here. But when it comes to grapevine, because he is talking to him, you will not have that time waste as such, and it will be very effective as well. Fast communication. So focus on 1 or 2 positives and negatives. Also advantages of this type of communication. Informal, as in there are no formal rules as such. Casual chats outside. If we take class as a formal setting, whatever is happening here is a formal communication. Outside of the class, we meet outside and say hi, how you had lunch, etc. That casual talk will be informal. This will be used where? At family get-togethers, friends meeting, get-togethers, outings, parties, etc. Right? Any questions still here?
No, sir.
No. So if you are silent, I assume it is yes. I'm hoping it is yes. So if there are any questions, you please unmute and ask. Don't hesitate. If you hesitate, you will only lose marks. You will only not pass. Keep that in mind. Essentials of oral communication, we already discussed some time back. Pronunciation. Spelling, pronunciation. What do you mean? Which day is it today? Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tomorrow?
Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. It's not Wednesday, it is Wednesday. It is not government, environment. So this is how we pronounce. This is applicable for oral communication, because when we write, we will write WEDNESDAY. But when we tell it out, oral communication is when our pronunciation will come into picture. Listening and conversation. The more we listen, the effective communicator we become. So listen more before talking. Spoken grammar. Again, the grammar we use, the vocabulary we use. We have a separate chapter on this. Noticing language. I give an example of moving the podium. No? Hey, you, move the podium. Or can you please move the podium? Meaning is same, but the way I use, the language I use is different. The tone I use is different. That is noticing language. Presentation, face-to-face video or interview. I've covered this in various chapters also. How to actually talk one-on-one or groups or online. We'll focus on that here and there moving forward. Next comes so this essentials of oral communication may also be a question for you. In the previous page, formal can be a question. Vertical, horizontal, diagonal individually can be a question. Informal can be a question. Here, network of communication can be a question, or a point under this can be a question individually. What do you mean by chain network? Right, the advantages and disadvantages of chain network. Right, so as a full question or a part question also. So quickly, vertical network. Quickly answer, someone. We don't have much time. We have only 1 hour to finish. Oh, not even, yeah. 1.5 hours to finish actually. Vertical network, quickly.
It's a formal communication, sir. Like.
Yeah, go on. Whoever is speaking.
Like manager said their employee to work, do the work.
Okay. So here in this question, whenever you see networks, your main focus should be on diagrams. Diagrams are compulsory, right? With a simple, my stylus is not arranged, or else I would have written on the board and shown you, but you know how the diagram looks. All of you have the material in front of you, I suppose. how does the diagram look for vertical communication, vertical network? I mean, your superior, subordinate, right? So superior on top, subordinate in the bottom, and arrows both ways. Diagram compulsory. So superior will talk to the subordinate, subordinate talk, whoever that is. You manager may talk to team lead may talk to associate, or associate may talk to team lead may talk to him. Whoever it is, one superior, one subordinate talking with arrow marks. You write superior, subordinate, arrow, arrow. Okay, you can say superior or supervisor, both are okay. Book says supervisor. I think you can use supervisor and superior. This is vertical communication. Second is
circuit.
Circuit. What is circuit?
So it is a type of network where one person sends a message and immediately from the next person he receives the feedback also.
Okay. So here what diagram will you use? A and B, two people are there. A will send the message to B. B will send the feedback to him. It's like a circle. It's like a wheel. So A and B, A will send a message. He will read the message. He will give a feedback. So when we say feedback in BCR, it's a response, right? So this is a network called as circuit network. Then
chain network.
Chain network. What do you mean by chain network?
Sir, it is a network where scalar chain is followed. Like each and every level, the message is being communicated without the lack of any of the level. Like
which follows chain of command. Okay, I think I lost you there, but yeah, it follows chain of command. What does that mean? CEO, for example, will talk to the finance head, will talk to the finance manager, will talk to the finance team lead, finance associate, etc. This side, the same CEO will also talk to the marketing manager, marketing head, team lead, etc. So we follow chain of command. This is called as a chain network, right? You can also write, the communication may not be very clear here, right? Because it goes through many steps to reach you, many people to reach you. It may become like a Chinese whisper also, no? He would have told something else, I understood something else. That may be the case with chain network because there are multiple people involved. Then we have star network. What does that mean? Here again, chain also write the diagram. You can write using A, B, C, D, E, or you can write A, B, C, D, write A on top, this side B, and then C, D, E, this side F, G, H, I. So follow the chain diagram. Next, star network.
It's where all guys talk to each other and also get the responses.
And also,
so it is easy way of communication because it is not consuming a lot of time, sir.
Okay, what example we took in class? CAPS, for example. If Shetty sir is the main person in charge of CAPS, then you as a student can also talk to him. I as a trainer can talk to him. Other people working in Shetty sir's office can talk to him. So there may be one single authority talking to everyone, right? So single authority is very important here, single controlling authority. Where will this not work? In a small organization, this may work. But in very big companies, where independent decision makers should be there, this type of network will not work. Remember this or no? You write this also. So where can this not work? It will not work in big organizations where multiple departments are there and separate decision makers are required. So whatever is written in the book, something extra also, along with simply saying one controlling authority talking to everyone. Write the diagram. In the diagram, center there will be one person, him talking to everyone, like this, like a wheel, like a bicycle wheel, right? That is star network. Next, wheel and spoke network. What does it mean?
Star network Star network yaar bekadru matadbodu. Wheel and spoke network one single control.
Correct. Correct. So many people simply nodding your head. Yes. Simply yes, 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 yes. So think of this. When you say star, what does that mean? Anyone can talk with anyone. Star thara noti ashte. Like all the dots, 5 dots, star 5 dots iruttane. 5 dots are connected to each other. That is star network. Anyone can talk to anyone. What do you mean by wheel and spoke? I gave an example. Bicycle wheel and you should have understood. Bicycle wheel, have you seen? My bicycle wheel will be connected to the main core, and then there are spokes. Andre adenatra adike spikes iruttalla adralli wheel connect madodu. That is wheel and spoke. So looking at the diagram, you should understand there will be one controlling authority and various spokes will talk to everyone. So what I discussed was not star network, it was wheel and spoke network. Clear? What's the difference between star and wheel and spoke? Star, anyone can talk with everyone. Look at the, that's why I'm telling you, diagrams are very, very important. In case you forgot, now I made a mistake voluntarily to tell you the importance of diagrams. In case you forgot what is chain, what is star, what is wheel and spoke, diagram nodid takshana should understand. Star andre, you can see 5 dots connecting with each other. Anyone can talk to anyone. Wheel and spoke andre, wheel alli madhya ondu irutte connector, and then akade full spikes irutte. So one controlling authority, and he will talk to everyone. Everyone will talk to that controlling authority. He will have control over everything. That should be your answer when you think. In case you forget or confused, think about the diagram. That's why I'm telling you, even though you can't by heart this, I'm not advising you to by heart. Even though you can't remember everything, diagrams you can write on your own. Clear? That is the reason whenever I take class, I've told you many times. In subject like this or other subjects as well, don't by heart the concepts. It will not work. What am I saying? Don't by heart the concepts. What should you do? Always understand with the help of stories, some incidents, some jokes, or some examples. Non-verbal communication. Your example should be the policeman asking for 300 rupees. Ashte. So when you understand this, even though you may forget what is non-verbal communication, using that 3 symbol, you will remember everything. You collect everything. Para language. Oh, should be your thing to remember, not the definition. Oh, and takshana gottagute. Oh, para language andre idu anta. Same thing. Wheel and spoke network. Wheel ide, madhya on spoke ide, madhya jaga ide, connector. So that is a single controlling authority. He will talk to everyone. Star andre 5 dots, all connecting to each other. Everyone talks to everyone. This is how you should remember. Don't say star network idu by heart, because if they ask wheel and spoke, you write star or confusion adre, you will lose it. So understand with the help of some stories, some examples, you can remember easily. Or if you try to by heart, very, very difficult. You may think English then I will by heart and write. It will never work. So keep that point in mind. Diagrams, very, very important. Understand with the help of diagram only here. Right? Any questions here till here? Vertical, superior, supervisor, subordinate. Circuit, message, feedback, chain network, one person and chain tara, one below the other, chain of command follow madudu. Star network, star, anyone can talk with everyone. Wheel and spoke network, one controlling authority, single controlling authority talking to everyone. Here it's not applicable for bigger organizations where they have independent decision makers. Okay, next, characteristics of effective communication. What do you mean by characteristics of effective communication? For a communication to be effective, what are the characteristics? What are the requirements? We have clarity, conciseness, concreteness, coherence, completeness, courteousness, focus and attention, emotional awareness and control, listening for understanding. So what I will do is, there is a rule again when we study too much. If we study without any movement for more than 1 hour, it's of no use. I mean, our grasping capacity will go down. So it's always advisable to take a break every hour. Just stand up from your chair, stretch your legs, just take a walk for 1 or 2 minutes max, go out, take some fresh air. Because when you're sitting inside the room, closed room, or windows closed, doors closed, no AC, fan ide but ade gali odaಡ್ತಿದೆ, you may feel sometimes sleepy also. So always once in a while open the door, once in an hour at least, take some fresh air, come in, you go out, take some fresh air, come out, stretch your legs, stretch your hands, legs, ella onsati mai murdu chennagi. We should sit at least every 1 hour, right? So take 2 minutes now, take a short 2-minute break. Let us say 3-minute break. If you want to go to the washroom, quickly run and come back, not more than 3 minutes. 3-minute break, you can drink water, coffee, tea, you can get it. Don't leave the meeting and go. Let the video be off or let the video be on. You do whatever you want. We will not focus on you, right? Just recollect that once. While you're stretching your legs and hands, just see what is there in the slide. Try recollecting it. As soon as we resume after 3 minutes, quickly pat and finish madi, we'll move ahead, right? From now on, general gyan is done. We'll be very specific and very fast. So whatever, try remembering this, revising this on your own. We'll anyways discuss that once, but quickly on sati note koli, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, stretch, relax, and recollect this. As soon as we are done with the break, we will come and discuss this and move forward, right? It's 18:03 in my laptop. 6:06 we will start sharp. Don't go out, stay in the frame, let the video also be on, just go and come back. 6:06 we'll start. Water adu idu neeru ella ready ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ and revise this. Once you are done stretching, revise this. As soon as we come, we'll start, right? 2.5 more minutes. I'll meet you in 3 minutes. Welcome back. Come back. All of you back? Okay. So one more advice if I have to give you, and many people have this pressure, mental pressure also, right? That ತುಂಬಾ stress ಆಗುತ್ತೆ exam ಬರ್ದಾಗ, ಭಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ತುಂಬಾ weak ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. If you have this in mind, I see many people smiling also there because you say correct, ನಂಗೆ ಹಂಗ ಆಗೋದು ಅಂತ. If you think that happens with you, exam hall ge you will carry water bottle, right? Add some glucose also there. Get some extra energy. That's the point, right? Instead of taking the plain what do you say, that flavorless glucose, you can buy that orange flavored glucose also, right? Because I do that. For now, even now, in the bottle, I was about to fill water, my mother told me add glucose and go. So it gives you energy. So exam allo ashte tensionally feel ಭಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು all that energy will go away. Last also sustagat ಬರ್ದಾಗ. So add some glucose water, preferably buy orange if you don't like the plain. I hate the white flavor, the plain flavor. Add buy orange glucose, add that flavor. Drink glucose water, get some energy as well on a side note. Okay, coming back quickly in 30 seconds, who will finish all these? Clarity. Communication effective irbekandre what should be the rules? So we'll start clarity.
So we should state what we are going to say to the audience correctly. That is clarity, sir. Next,
be clear in what you're saying. Don't beat around the bush. Conciseness.
Yes. So whatever we say, we should be short and sweet. It should be crisp rather than saying the whole story without even saying the message to them.
Okay, so in the book, they use this word called brevity. Remember? Brevity means concise, to the point. Australia. Don't elaborate unnecessarily. Okay, next, concreteness.
Sir, it should be full of facts and information. Rather than giving the one full page without any information, we can say the whole page summary in just 2 lines with all the full information, sir. That is concreteness.
So, facts will add more value to what you're saying. It's proof. So the more facts we have, concreteness with evidence, the better it is. Coherence.
So we should link each and everything, sir. Think, for example, if we are writing a biography, we should start from birth and then we need to come to the first nursery, then pre-nursery, like that we need to come. Rather than saying first is birth, next is marriage, next death, it will not be related, sir. We need to have that coherence, like first standard, second standard, how we are linked, like that only every sentence must be linked with the previous one.
So in both the batches, I remember telling you, for each paragraph, write 3 to 4 keywords. Have you written that in the book? You would have written that, no? Here would have written interconnected, related, what else? You would have written connected, organized. Yes? Keyword, summary of this particular passage, paragraph. Next, completeness.
So whatever we are saying, we need to complete the whole thing, sir. We should not leave any story open-ended.
Okay, so all required information should be mentioned, relevant and required information. I think it's important here. The main part of this relevant and required information should be available with the other party, with the receiver of the message. Okay, next, courteousness.
So we should be polite, and whatever we say, even if it is a negative message, we need to say it in a positive manner. Rather than don't do it, we can say you can stop or reduce doing it so that your marks will be improved. Rather than saying don't do it, you will not get good marks. So the way we approach approach the audience is important.
So be polite, be respectful, be honest. Those are the takeaways here. Courteousness. Next, focus and attention.
So we need to focus on only the main thing and ignore most of the irrelevant and unnecessary facts, sir. If we are focusing more on this sub points, which is not so important or not so necessary, our main point, which we are intended to say to our audience, get lost. It will be lost in the whole big summary which we write, sir.
Correct. So avoid the distractions. I told you, avoid people who say you can't pass, it's CA is very difficult. That's what this message is. Focus on what you can, ignore the rest. Next, emotional awareness and control.
Sir, if whatever we say, it will directly hit upon our audience, sir. Sir, think, for example, if we are too emotional, it can be in negative way also, it can be a positive thing also, sir. It can influence them in both the aspects. So whatever we say, we must be aware and we must be in control notion of it, sir. We can't exercise too much of happiness or too much of sorrow in writing.
So one is, we should not only be in control of our emotions, we should also think about the other person's emotions as well. Right? Imagine you have passed your foundation exam, the other person has not, for whatever reasons. When you go and celebrate him, will you go and tell him, come, will you go and party and pass the CA exam to him? No. He will be feeling bad because he failed, right? So keeping, not only it's about your emotion, it's also about the receiver's emotion as well. We should make a note of that. Should be aware of that at least and control ourselves. Next, listening for understanding.
So whenever we need to speak something, we need to listen. For example, if we say a topic, if he listens it, the vice versa, the topic can totally be changed. If we say that education is important, if he thinks that education is not important and he starts speaking about the whole thing, it becomes a vain conversation, no sir?
So one is when we listen to others, we will also observe the non-verbal communication. Is he really meaning that? Is he lying? Or how good, what's his emotional state of mind when he's telling this? Is he telling this because of his wrong emotions, because he's not able to control his emotions? We'll understand everything when we listen. And then accordingly, we can give a response. That is when it can be effective. He is also telling because his emotions is flaring. Now, it will not come to a conclusion. Will not come to a conclusion. Now, then you will also be fighting. There will never be peace at the end, right? So the point here is listen, understand, be attentive, look at, understand the emotions as well, understand the perception also, and then communication will be effective, right? So here they may not give you write all the characteristics. They may write what do you mean by concreteness in effective communication, explain, or explain completeness in effective communication. So each and every line is very, very important. It may be asked individually for 2 marks, right? Courteousness andre enu, right, for 2 marks anta irutte athara, right? Okay, next, quickly, communication barriers. As in, for communication to be very effective, there will be some hurdles in between, some barriers in between. So what are those barriers? Physical barrier. Anyone quickly? Physical is something to do which is there. For example, I'm taking a class, the internet is weak or the laptop is very old, the camera is not working properly, speaker is not working properly. These are called as physical barriers. Because of something external, we are not able to communicate properly. Mic is not mic is not working or speaker is not working. So these are called as some technical disturbances, other noises, construction, all these are physical barriers, right? There's something also called as physiological barriers. What does that mean?
So that is the mindset, how we think.
It is personal physical. Here people will be confused here. Physical barrier, physiological barrier. There are two things here. Physical means mic or speaker work all that is physical barrier. Speaker is not working. But nim speaker that is physiological. What I'm saying? External, physical. Nimdage problem is your eyesight is very poor. Without glasses, you can't see. Can you blame the teacher for writing on the board? No, the problem is within you. This is called as physiological. So the other word for physiological, I mean, don't write in the exam, but you should write in your book is personal physical. Something, but personal physical. For example, poor eyesight, hearing difficulty there, or I'm not keeping well, I have a headache, I'm not able to concentrate. All these are barriers, which is called as physiological barriers. But main thing, physical, physiological, keep that in mind. Next, organizational structure barrier.
So because most of the times employee will have that mindset that he's a top level manager, what can I speak with him? But what
will he think? So all that will be there. The structure of the organization itself will stop you to communicate effectively. Because we follow chain of command, we can't communicate effectively. Language barrier. I gave example of us going to Kerala, if you remember or no, right? Office first trip from my office, we went to Kerala, and the partner is discussing with him. He's saying "napo, nipo" to him. He's telling something. He's telling something else. They're not able to communicate properly. So language may also come in between for us to have effective communication. If I'm trying to explain in, say, Sanskrit, will you understand anything? No. This is a language barrier. I can explain only in Sanskrit. You can't understand. You can understand every language other than Sanskrit. So when language comes into picture, again, language barrier. Next, cultural barrier. Here we discussed points like handshake, greetings, namaste, right? In many cases, namaste is accepted as greeting. In other countries, bowing, bending down. In other cases, shake hands. In other cases, hugs are considered as greeting. Right? So depending on different cultures, if we go to a foreign culture where as soon as they meet, they come and hug you, where they greet you, will be comfortable with that? No. And in other cases, touching may be considered as handshake is also considered. I mean, touching as an informal physical contact may be considered wrong. So handshake is not acceptable. They do namaste or they simply bow down. So there, can you go and give a handshake? No. So we should also keep in mind the cultural aspects of the place where we are going to adjust accordingly, or else again, that is the we'll encounter issues there. Cultural barrier. Next, attitude barrier. What is that?
So the way we respond with our top level managers, like making sounds, fidgeting, we use some gadgets which is not acceptable in meetings. All this.
Okay. Perception barrier.
The way we think, sir.
The way we understand.
The way we think or understand. What will others think? Right? Then anything else? Anyone else? Perception barrier.
So they might have been told something like, we'll always have that, no, sir. They will say the same thing. We'll only pre-evaluate things, sir. Even if they wouldn't have told that.
They will start thinking. So what will he think if I don't go to his wedding? He will not care only. You will simply say, oh, he will feel bad if I don't go. He will not even think about you. So these are called as perception barrier. And this may lead to miscommunication also. I may expect something, you may expect something else. Right? Your interpretation may be something else, which will lead to miscommunication barrier. Emotional barrier.
Smiling in a wrong situation.
Okay, then. The way we talk to others when we are, say, nervous. Then you are emotional when you are nervous, angry, sad, right? The style completely changes. If a happy person is talking to a person whose state of mind is sad, do you think there'll be effective communication? No. I may mean in a different way, you may understand in a different way, or you may not even care. So all these aspects will come in between when we have a communication. Emotional aspects will come in picture. Your anxiety will also be there, right? Fear of failure is also one. Next, technology barrier. Remember, I gave an example of boss Chitragupta books and the boss hitting the monitor screen to make it work. Laptop phone work right? So because of technology, they're not able to communicate effectively. I spoke about Chitragupta books also, if you remember.
Sir, and another auntie in your Toastmaster club.
Exactly. So now she is no longer regular, but yeah, that's also one example which I gave. She told me, give the money in cash to me for reimbursement. I don't know how technology works. I don't know Google Pay, Phone Pay works. She's an age elder. She's a grandmother. She won't understand. So give me money in cash. She doesn't understand technology. And if I, as a club, have to give her some money, I can't give her through cash. We have some rules. Again, some issues there. Technology issues. Chitragupta books, they maintain books like this to maintain their records. They are not willing to change because if they change, they will lose their jobs. The technology barrier. Right. Next, physiological barrier we already saw. Gender barrier, I think, is removed from the new material, right?
Yep, sir, removed.
Yes, sir.
So what do you mean by gender barrier? They say no.
Talking to the other gender.
Okay. And I think there is
responding to the wishes, birthday wishes. We took an exam.
Correct. So again, as we discussed in class, I think the book also says this. Men are usually believed to be to the point. To the point.
Women are sentimental and emotional.
They are sentimental. They are emotional. They sometimes give too much detail, which is not required. So men may say. So you may complain saying lack of information, but women will beautify it and give to you. You may say too much. So all these gender related issues may also come up. You may have the different perception itself. But now, if you are applying for a job, they specifically say gender is no criteria. We don't select based on gender bias. For us, all are equal. Gender, religion, caste, we don't care. So that is what is happening now. But again, this is there in the book. So we have to discuss that. Okay, so that brings an end to communication chapter. Pretty easy chapter, nothing much to worry about. Only point is, ella question one part, so be careful, don't miss any specific chapter. Vocabulary for the online batch. Who took vocabulary chapter? Parnika ma'am took, no? What did I take? Can't hear.
Ma'am has taken, sir.
Pranika ma'am. Only vocabulary chapter she handled, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So I have not taught you anything specifically pertaining to vocabulary chapter. Yes or no? Confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you tell me what you have understood then. Got what I'm saying? So you tell me what you have understood, then we'll move forward fast. I will also tell you my suggestions of how to approach some questions, but you tell me what you understood. Here, Parnika madam will not come and take the R2C class once again for this chapter. I will only be handling. But I want you to tell me, say, for example, give the examples which you have taken in class. As I told you, understand all the chapters with the help of examples, right? So what examples you have used, or what examples, what explanation was given, what do you remember from the class? You tell me that, right? So vocabulary is about your listening, reading, writing, speaking, okay? Types of vocabulary, connotation, and jargon words. Who can tell me what's connotation? Quickly, fast. Connotation.
Sir,
Lawrence, I will ask.
Sir, emotion or feeling behind the words.
Emotion or feeling behind the words. Okay. Example.
Sir, home and house.
Home and house. When do we say home? Namdo andaga. When it's ours, we call it home. Bere urdu andaga we say house. Who answered that?
Sir,
no. Okay. So when I share the screen, I can't see anyone else. So I have to stop sometime in between during interaction at least. Any other example of connotation? We have positive, neutral, and negative, right? Meaning will be same. There may be 3 words. A more word meaning will be same. But which word we use in that situation may hurt or hurt others, may anger others, or may make others happy. For example, no offense to anyone, if there is a student here who weighs 120 kgs, what will you call that student? I mean, no offense to anyone, it's a general discussion, right? If a student weighs 120 kgs, what will you say? What will you call him or her? Let us say her. What will you call her? She is what? Fat. But if you tell her, hey, you fat lady, come here, you think she'll smile and say what?
No,
she'll take the chappal and ask what? Yes. So fat, see, I mean, I'm not judging anyone or not specifically saying anything, but generally, this is general discussion happening with an open mind. Okay, don't take offense. If someone is thin, you're thin. If someone is fat, you're fat. If someone is black, you're black. If someone is white, you're white. You can't change it. You should deal with it. And in case someone teases you with that, learn to laugh at yourself first. Then you will not even care what others think about you. Many people call me thin. Many people have seen me here. Am I very, fat or very muscular? No, it's because and many people say, sometimes you may feel bad. Imagine my parents or my wife, they will also feel bad. But what will I say? I will say, so you should learn to first of all laugh at yourself. But I can also say, yes, advantage of being thin. I can fit in anywhere I want. Right? Or I'm just giving examples. First, learn to laugh at yourself. No one can make fun of you. General point. Coming back to this example, in case you weigh 120 kgs, you are dappa, you are fat. Is it a fact? Yes. It's a fact that you are fat. But can I tell you are fat? Will you be happy with that?
No, sir.
No. What can I tell you?
You're chubby, healthy.
You're chubby. Gund kidya. Nin dappa idya anta you will feel bad. But gund kidya andre you feel happy. Hauda. Yes, chubby agidya neenu. Gund kidya. It's all fine. But the moment I call you are fat, dappa kidya neenu andre you will feel bad. Yes or no? So this is what is called as connotation. The meaning behind the word. Dappa, fat, negative. Chubby gund kidya neenu. Andre it's a positive or neutral one. So you should also, not only the words, you should also think about the meaning or the emotion which comes with the word. All 3 meanings are same. Chubby andru vande, gundu kidya andru vande, dappa andru onde. Well built. I use specifically the word well built. I don't call anyone chubby or bad. I say the well built person. Well built person. But well built sounds good. I won't say that fat person I saw yesterday. Imagine the way others respond to you in that case, right? These are called as connotation, right? One meaning a word may be positive positive meaning barbodu or negative meaning barbodu. Meanings will be same. I'm talking about the emotions here more than the meaning. Just like paralanguage, words ke bere but tone ke bere meaning irodrinda. Same thing applies here, where words meaning will be same but the emotion which the word carries will be different. Example, say best example is fat and chubby. You call someone fat, it's bad. You call someone chubby or gundu gundu kidya, it is okay. This is called as connotation, right?
Like
Next.
smell and fragrance.
Yes. Can we say ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಅಡಿಗೆ ಮನೆಯಿಂದ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ವಾಸನೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಡಸ್ ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್? ವಾಸನೆ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಫೌಲ್ ಸ್ಮೆಲ್, ಗಬ್ಬು ವಾಸನೆ ಅಂತಿರಲ್ವಾ, ಡಬ್ಬಾ ಸ್ಮೆಲ್ ವಾಸನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಮನೆ ಅಡಿಗೆ ಮನೆಯಿಂದ ಪರಿಮಳ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೈಸ್ ಸ್ಮೆಲ್. ಸೊ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಸೇಮೇ, ವಾಸನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಮೆಲ್ಲೇ. ಬಟ್ ಗುಡ್ ಸ್ಮೆಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಸ್ಮೆಲ್ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ, ಆ ಎಮೋಷನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಪರಿಮಳ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಗುಡ್, ವಾಸನೆ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್. ಸೊ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಸೇ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ವಾಸನೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಿನ್ ಮೈಂದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಡಸ್ ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್? ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. ಎಸ್. ಸೊ this is what happens. Meaning will be same, but ನೀವು ಗುಡ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಅದರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಷನ್, ಅವನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀನ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ವಾಸನೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಿನ್ ಮೈಂದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಮೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಗುಡ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್, ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ವಾಸನೆ, ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ವಾಸನೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಹಿ ಮೇ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನನ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಜೋಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಗಬ್ಬು ವಾಸನೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಮೇ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಲೀಡ್ ಟು ಮಿಸ್ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಎಮೋಷನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಬಿಗ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್. ಕೀಪ್ ಅ ಟ್ಯಾಬ್ ಆಫ್ positive and neutral connotations. We saw in the book now a lot of examples we discussed in class. Vasne, parimala, and yeah, fat, chubby. These are called as connotations. Idioms. What are idioms?
Sir, it is a phrase which we use, but it will not convey the entire meaning. But we can get to know the meaning by its usage, sir. Like, don't beat around the bush. It does not literally mean you're going around the bush. It means that you are explaining so much, which is like a bush.
Okay, wait, let me ask someone who has switched off the video. Manju Gowda KN, where are you?
Sir, means the group of words that have meaning different from their literal meaning. So like,
one more example.
So like Kannada, it means ಗಾದೆಗಳು, like ಚಿಕ್ಕದ್ರಲ್ಲೇ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಚಿಕ್ಕ ವಾಕ್ಯಗಳೇ ತುಂಬಾ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. Sir,
yes, I think I found one interesting one in Hindi. Again, it makes no sense, but it's still an idiom in Hindi. I used this when I was in an audit in Nasik, and my senior was using it to the client. I mean, he didn't tell it to him directly, but he was, telling us, scolding him. He told him something like, "Chullu bar pani mein doob maro." I asked him, "What does this mean?" He said, "Chullu bar means this much. ಇಷ್ಟು ಪಾನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿದ್ದು ಸಾಯಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ ನನಗೆ. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಇಷ್ಟೇ ನೀರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿದ್ದು ಸಾಯಕಾಗುತ್ತಾ, ನೀವು ಮುಳುಗ್ ಸಾಯಕಾಗುತ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಎಸೆನ್ಸ್. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಎಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್. ಇಷ್ಟೇ ನೀರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೀಳಬೇಕು, ದಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಸಾಯಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋತಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಟು ಹೈಪ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಪ್ ದೇ ಸೇ ಚುಲ್ಲು ಬರ್ ಪಾನಿ, ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ನೀರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಯಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋತಾರೆ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ಹಂಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ meaning, it makes no sense. But figurative meaning will be something else. As she said, beat around the bush. That does not mean there is a bush and you beat around that bush. What does that mean? Don't
elaborate.
That means don't unnecessary ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಹಿಂಗ್ ತಿನ್ನೋ ಬದಲು ಹಿಂಗ್ ತಿನ್ನಿ. Get to the point ಅನ್ನೋ ತರ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Right? So the question here is, how should we approach idioms? As the trick. See, there's no point in going through hundreds of idioms. Actually, we should do that. But what's the use? How should we approach? When we look at a new idiom in exam, how will we approach that? First suggestion is, think about the literal meaning first. Actual meaning ಏನು ಇರುತ್ತೋ, think about that only first. Beat around the bush ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Or ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನೋ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಚುಲ್ಲು ಬರ್ ಪಾನಿ ಮೇ ಡೂಬ್ ಜಾವ್. Or something, take any random medium for that matter. Actual meaning ಏನು ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ think about that once. For example, there is one idiom called black sheep. What does that mean? Kappu sheep. Sheep andre ಏನಂತಾರೆ? ಮೇಕೆನಾ? What do we call sheep in Kannada? Meke. Meke ಅಲ್ಲ. Meke is goat.
ಕುರಿ.
Kuri.
Kuri.
Kappu kuri. Will we have kappu kuri? Have you seen any black sheep anywhere?
No, sir. Means like it means
There are
odd one.
hundreds of white sheep. And one day one black sheep is there. What does that mean?
Odd one out.
Odd one out. So think like this. Break it up. Actual meaning na artha madkoli modlu. Dabba meaning. Actual meaning will not make much sense. There will not be any black sheep. But when someone says black sheep, what can that imply? Is full ella sheep white ide. One day one sheep matra black ide.
It is odd one out or unique.
That means it is the odd one out. Answer is odd one out. Right? Atra. For example, once in a blue moon. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಲೂ ಮೂನ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೋ ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So when you say he speaks well once in a blue moon, he speaks sense once in a blue moon ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು?
He doesn't speak well all times, but sometimes he may speak well.
Yeah. So once in a blue moon meaning ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? Literal meaning ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೋ ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಅಂತ. Link that here. You will get the answer here. The point. Point here is there may be sometimes questions will be asked where idioms anywhere, but how should we approach? That is very, very important. Think about the literal meaning itself. You will get the answer. Which literal meaning will not make sense, but literal meaning you identify maddaga, you will get the answer yourself. Give me any other new idiom. Let us see. Let us see how to decode that.
Lion's share.
Lion's share. Lion's share. Someone told lion's share. What does that mean?
Huge
Think of it practically. Lion's share. Lion is the king of the jungle. Yes. Lion's share. Lion ge jaasti kodtivi. So jaasti bandide avenge. Right. For example, Shetty sir got a lion's share of the syllabus or timings. I got very less. Andre you know, BCR because it's only 40 marks. I got 3 hours. But Shetty sir got 20 hours. Atara. So he got a lion's share of the time allotted for R2C. You can use this example here instead of saying he got more anta. So idioms will add masala to your language. Right. Think of it as in Maggi noodles. Bari noodles na missing madidre, it's like a normal English. But the moment you add this masala, idioms are this masalas, your English will be tasty. That's why you should use idioms. Give me any other idiom. Let us see how do we break it up.
I have other fishes to fry.
I have other fishes to fry. What does that mean? You tell me something. Can you please do this? I will say I have other fishes to fry. I'm a vegetarian, first of all. I will not fry any fish. But when I say I have other fishes to fry, no, bare fish na fry madbeku andre, that's the literal meaning. That's the actual meaning, right? But will that make any sense? No. What does that mean? I have other fishes to fry. Adra na bare kelsa madbeku. Innu dod kelsa ide nange madake. Bare kelsa ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. So this is how you approach that. Someone sent something in the chat. Nangotri says the ball is in your court. Again, one more idiom. How will you approach this?
So it means that whatever you want, you take the decision.
It's your decision. So ball in kodalide. Ball is in your court. It's with you. You take the decision. Neen hatra ide. You are the decision maker tara. Neen heldange ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Right? You take the decision tara. Last idiom example, anyone?
A bolt from the blue.
Not to crack, sir.
A bolt from the blue. What does that mean? I didn't expect. I studied very well, but this question came as a bolt from the blue. Atra enadru randomly. That means you're not expecting something. Sudden na one bolt bant. Out of the blue one. Out of the blue is a more idiom. Out of the blue means you're not expecting something came. A jolt from the blue, a bolt from the blue antella bandaga, you're not expecting something very serious which came. You're not expecting that. Someone said born in a silver spoon or born with a silver spoon. Andre eno?
Born luxurious.
Bayalli silver spoon. Will that happen? Putdagle bayal silver spoon enadru irutta? No. That means putdaglindanu silver alle tinkondu bandidane andre he is rich anta ashte. That is the meaning of it. So when you break down the literal meaning which does not make sense, automatically answer bandbidutte nimge. So don't think meaning ಏನು ನೋಡಲ್ಲ idiom na will not write andre 1 mark gone. Think about the literal meaning itself and then use a judgment common sense to find the actual meaning. Break it up as much as possible in bits and pieces. You will get the meaning. Any last difficult idiom?
Cold reception.
Cold reception. So I mean, don't answer this, but you have heard reception, right? Cold reception antide. If you don't know what that means, what will you say? Nange gottilla enu anta. But reception andre enu? Welcoming. Yes. When we welcome anyone, what do we say? A warm welcome to you. A warm welcome to the guest. Kedidira adanella? What does that mean? Welcomes are always warm. When you say cold reception andre adu ulta anta. That means I am not welcome here. Atra meaning bandidutte. Yes. Think of relate, break down ಮಾಡಿ. Reception ಹೆಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? Warm reception. With a warm, you look at any invitation card also, ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಬರ್ದಿರಬಹುದು, right? So warm welcome to you ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸರ್ ವಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ, ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಪೋಸಿಟ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಅಂತ. Someone sent something in the chat, sir, a hard nut to crack. So there are many, for example, ಕಡಲೆಕಾಯಿ ತಿಂದಾಗ, ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ನಟ್ ತಿಂದಾಗ, some are very easy, ಅದನ್ನ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಾಯಿಗೆ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. Some are very difficult, right? Even pista seeds also, pista ತಿಂದಾಗ ಶೆಲ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ sometimes it's very difficult to crack. What does that mean? A hard nut to crack ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ.
It is a tedious task.
Yes. Will people sometimes use here also, for example, passing CA is a hard nut to crack. You should say no.
Quite difficult to crack it.
Yeah, you should say no. You know the reason? No, you should say no. It's very easy. It's a piece of cake. Someone says CA is a hard nut to crack, you should say it's a piece of cake. Piece of cake is also an idiom. That means
cake
very
walk.
Easy. Yeah, it's a cake walk. It's a piece of cake, right? So these are idioms. Break it up. Understand the dabba meaning first, which doesn't make sense. From there you will get the actual meaning. And second option is, after you break down the literal meaning, look at the answers also. Follow elimination method. You will get the answer yourself, right? Now, option 3 will not make any sense. One will be closer to what you have thought, what you have interpreted. That will be the answer. And in case optionally, this may also be there, that may also be there. Select the most close one as per your interpretation, most closest answer. You write it. It's a risk, either correct or wrong, but at least you are giving the shot. Don't come out without writing the answer. Okay, next we have synonyms and antonyms. Again, here, I had plans of taking all the previous year's question papers list, including RTPs, MTPs, and previous test papers, to tell you what type of questions will be asked. But you now know, I think by now you know what types of questions are asked, right? Sometimes you may not have heard about this answer itself, word itself, and sometimes you may have heard but you have not used it anywhere, so you don't know what that means. Possibilities are there. How will we approach this? The first biggest mistake which people do when it comes to synonyms and antonyms are what? Reading the question wrong. Reading the question wrong. What does that mean?
So synonym means we actual literal meaning is writing the same words, which means same words are like samanarthaka pada we say in Kannada, no? So that is synonyms. But sometimes in that the confusion we think it the vice versa and think like we should write opposites. So there we go wrong many a times. But antonym is viruddharthaka.
Correct. So what happens here is easy questions, synonym or antonym. Sometimes you may not know the word, which is okay. But where we lose mark is even in comprehension passage. We've not discussed that yet. But comprehension kottaga, you may get direct questions from the passage directly. Or they may ask you to summarize, or they may select a word. This passage, what is the meaning of this word? Or they may give the meaning of that word and say which word relates to this particular line in the above passage, right? So aitra question keldaga, and sometimes they may say this word, what is the antonym of this? A word not bitto, the first thing we'll do is look at the synonym, the meaning enu anta. But question alli antonym kelirtare, ulta kelirtare. You synonym bartira, answer is wrong, and you will say why did I fail? You will not know where you lost marks. So be very careful first. Check if they're asking synonym or antonym. First silly mistake people do. Then look at the answer. How do we approach that? Again, break it up. Break that one. Identify the root word. We have not discussed root word yet. But meaning word enadru kottidre adu break ಮಾಡಿ ಅದು root word enadru ಇದೆಯಾ ನೋಡಿ. Identify if there is a root word. Or break it up and say multiple dot word enadru idre, break that word, and when you break that word into smaller pieces, will that smaller piece rhyme with anything else or have separate meaning which can be used here? So break it up, analyze. First technique. Second is elimination again. Next is use this in a sentence somewhere using all the options given. One question kodirtare, famished, 4 options kodirtare. Use what do you say, replacement method tara. For example, idu sentence use madidre, will it make sense? Option B, if used in a sentence, will it make sense? Option C, if used in a sentence, will it make sense? Or option D, will it rhyme? Will it have the same meaning? Connotation same irutta? Analyze everything, then identify the answer. This works if you've not heard the word only. If you know what the word is, okay. Closest to what you know, you can mark and move forward, right? Here, even if you practice 100 questions, you may get the 101st question in the exam. So there's no point in by-hearting anything. Don't by-heart here, right? So you get a hang of it, practice more and more questions. Collocations, quickly, one example. Heavy rain. Heavy meaning is different. Rain meaning is different. But ಎರಡು separate meanings when we use together, they are called as collocations. They are usually used together. The meaning will be something else only. Heavy means something, rain means something. When you say heavy rain, jorag male barta ide. So words which are used together, right? Now, to break away from this all English vocabulary, let me ask a simple question. Let me see who answers. Okay, general question, not pertaining to BCR, for refreshment. What is blue and not heavy? Who will answer first?
Sir, could you repeat it, sir?
What is blue and not heavy?
Light blue, sir.
Just use your mind. Huh?
Light blue, sir.
Light blue is correct. Who answered? Amok. Okay. So what is blue but not heavy? Answer is light blue. Just a silly question, but again, sometimes no, when we focus on some silly questions like this, trust me, that is how we answer complicated ones. Meaning first silly. I can give you tons of questions like this, right? But that is when we'll start using our brain. You may think it's some silly thing, but even Shetty sir cracks jokes sometimes. He may ask some jokes sometimes. He may ask some questions sometimes. If by chance it is silly, and if you're able to answer it, you may answer. You're in a good position to answer difficult questions. Because when you think of some silly jokes, you know, in fact, I had this training session in a school children, 8, 9, 10 standard. I had this question, and after I told the answer, sometimes they threw pencil bisakudru antara kopa looking at the answer. The answers were so dabba, they were so frustrated. So my point of having that session there is start using our brain, think differently. Right? If I have to give an example, which I have saved somewhere, I have a lot of questions like this. The point is not to understand these dabba questions. The point is to think creatively. Wait, let me see if I. Okay, quickly, in 1 minute, let us look at a couple of questions. What do cats have that no other animals would have? Anyone? What do cats have that no other animal has?
Sound.
No. I can say meow. Answer is kittens. Yes or no? Will dog have kittens?
No, sir.
No. Okay. How many times, maths question, how many times can you subtract number 2 from number 50? Easy, very easy. Think, paper and pen calculator. Answer is once, because once you subtract 2 from 50, it's no longer 50, it becomes 48, no? Yes, there's similar question like this. How many apples can you eat in an empty stomach? 1. Because after you eat the first apple, your stomach is not empty anymore, right? So look at some questions like these where you use your brain. This is how you will answer some synonyms. See, no one will tell you this, okay? No one will give such suggestions to you, but try this once. Okay. Okay, never mind. We'll come back. There are many, but okay, let us not bother with that. Let us come back. So the point here is think. Synonyms, antonyms, idioms, break it up. The actual meaning identify ಮಾಡಿ, then you start thinking and okay. Okay, phrasal verbs quickly. What did you understand from the class? Parnika Mam's class. Quickly, phrasal verbs. What's the takeaway here? Fast.
Sir, it is a group of words which adds meaning to the sentence, sir.
Okay. Example. Any example, Parnika ma'am took here? Quickly.
It was done by you only, sir.
Okay, to your batch. Other batch? The previous batch? Nothing?
Sir, like pass with high scores.
Like?
Pass with high scores.
Pass with high scores. Then?
The light goes out.
Okay, then?
Graceful dance.
Okay. So what is a phrase, first of all?
Sound.
Word means a word. Phrase means a collection of words, but it may be incomplete as well. Complete one is called a sentence, right? When we say phrase, that means collection of words, a group of words, and a group of verbs, right? They are called as phrasal verbs. A group of words which are verbs. Verbs are actions: eating, running, sleeping, dancing. Okay. A prefix and suffix.
So whatever we add before a word is known as prefix, and whatever we add after a word is suffix. So both can be antonym also. It can form synonym also, sir.
Yes. So prefix, pre. Suffix, post. After the word, after the root word. What are root words?
The base words.
The base words. For example, give me an example of a root word.
So like dancing, in that root word is dance.
Okay, dancing, root word is dance. And then we add synonym, we add pre-suffix, or we add other words.
Eatables,
okay.
Eat.
Okay, fine. Quickly moving on, because we just 6:49 now. Okay. Comprehension. Again, tricks to solve this question. First, I've already told you this, but it's put in word here. First step, quick read to get the main idea. Here, don't by heart anything, don't concentrate on anything. Read with an open mind. With an open mind, just read the entire thing once, like a story, without concentrating on anything. Here we'll get the main idea of the passage. Not very specific. Main idea, we'll get the meaning of the passage. First, read it. Second, underline keywords, points, or statements. While you're reading, if you think something is very, very important, just make a note of that. A step. Third, scan through all the questions. Once you are done reading, then go through the questions once again. Go through the questions one by one. So you'll get to know what are they expecting now. Right? After you read all the question once, then ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಏನೇನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ be very clear. That's what they're saying here. 4th point. Then reread the passage. First attempt when you read, you will got the entire main idea. Then you look at the questions. Now you know what the questions are. What are they asking? Now when you read once again for the second time, be very specific. Questions ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತು. Mark answers which pertains to the, or mark points which relates to the questions. For example, direct question ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ just mark that. No, even though they say don't write anything in the paper, etc. But I would suggest mark it in pencil. No, not evidently. Don't mark. Just discreetly mark, and you can erase later also. But mark madi. When you read, mark all the important ones, highlight, brackets, star, or underline madi, right? And later you can erase it. If someone makes an issue, you can erase it later, but slightly mark. So second time when you read, you know what the questions are. You will get the answers in the passage. Mark. And once you are done marking, just check once. Each question ge answer banta. Now you know what part of the passage is. How part of the passage, which part is given, you will know. Read the question and you will get to know where the answer would be. Just select and mark it there. And just check if you got all the answers or no. Here there are multiple questions which may be asked. One is MCQ. It may be synonym, antonym, idiom related question, or direct question. Very direct, without changing words. The simple direct question kelbodu. They can ask you summary also, right? So any type of question may be asked. They may club 2 chapters and ask in the same chapter here itself, right? As we discussed, specific detailed question. Answers direct ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. No need to use your brain only. Just see, search where it is, right? Vocabulary based question, as I told you, meaning, phrases, idioms used. They'll ask you to write the meaning. I think in the RTP. Now, I think that this terms RTP, they have given a reference saying this is the meaning, which word is used in the paragraph taranta, something of that sort, right? We'll discuss that in detail during the R2R session later. But yeah, inference question. So what does this mean, Tara? What is your opinion, Tara? You will have to write your own inference here. What did you understand, Nanta? Main idea question. That is, they will say, identify the theme of the passage. So there may be one theme, but various subpoints. For example, accidents may be one theme. Why accidents? Due to drink and drive, negligent driving, using cell phones, potholes, many reasons. But what is the main theme? Accidents, and how to protect yourself from accidents. Taranta. So main theme identify you first. Subpoints are there. So they may ask you to write the main theme. Don't focus on drinking and driving or potholes. Your main theme should be accidents in this example. What is the main theme? That, and write a suitable title can also be one question, 1 mark question. Passage could be to write a suitable title for the passage. That may also be a type of question for comprehension. 5 mark first question. Don't waste too much time here. First reading should be very fast to get the main idea. Then read the questions. Then second reading only go back and mark. Then check if you have got all the answers. Then move forward. 5 minimum 5 you will get here. Very easy. Next, note making. We have 2 types, linear and non-linear. What do we know? Linear note making. What does that mean? Structured way, formal way. What comes there?
Sir, to write just the main idea like point wise, whereas in non-linear we can present the whole summary in a chart format, sir.
Okay, chart or any other format. For example, linearly we are maintaining a format. Title will be there, heading, then subheading will be there, under subheading some point, then subheading may also be there. Indentation andre eno. For example, first point if we start from here, second point will start from here. Subpoint, subpoint will start from here. E line, E indentation. Indentation means the line where you start from. So leave one margin, say 1 arm space for first subpoint, 2 finger space for subpoint, 3 finger space for subpoint. That is called as indentation. Use of abbreviation as per rules, acronyms. Abbreviationally, we sometimes use first and last, MR, Mr. Or we use one words in between, letters in between. Development, DVPT. Or we'll use first part of the word and the last letter. Depreciation, DEPN. Right? So, abbreviation say use use it legally and write a list of legends used also. If you're using it multiple times, glossary write it there clearly. Note taking versus note making. Quickly in 30 seconds, who will explain?
Sir, note making is something they have already given us the passage and we need to make it still more understandable so that it would become crisp, so that every word is written but not in the entire format. That is note making. Whereas note taking is, for example, you are explaining, you're doing a class and we need to write just the main points. That becomes note taking because we are doing it for the primary time, whereas note making, already they have given the summary, we are doing it for the second time in a precise manner. That is note making.
So in the example what I told you in class, when I'm explaining something, you're making notes in your LMR, last minute revision book, that is called as note making or note taking?
Note taking.
You're taking down notes. Whatever I'm explaining in class, whatever you feel is relevant, you will write. This is called as taking notes, not taking. And once you scribble down in your LMR book, in the next page, you'll write neatly. Once you go back home or after the class, when you have time, you will write neatly. That is called as note making. Right? So note taking will come first, then comes note making. So we saw linear. What is non-linear? You can use tables, you can use 3D diagrams, you can use charts. It's open-ended. There is no format there. You can start from here, then you can link here, then here, then here. From there, it comes here. So this is easily understandable also in some cases. When it's linear, sometimes we may not understand clearly, but non-linear, we can link many things at once. We can make like a tree, reverse tree, charts. We can use all these tools and make notes. That is called as non-linear note making. Strategies for effective note making. Again, read the text twice, identify the main idea and draw important points. This may also be part of your first question. They will give a passage. They will say make notes or note making. 3 marks also. 3 marks may be the point. So what will you do here in this case? Small passage will be given. Read the passage once. Again, identify the main points. Look at how the main idea has been presented, developed, and frame a suitable title or heading. What are they talking about? One title is very, very important. And I told you, title should be very crisp. Don't have lengthy ones. Be brief and specific. Skip examples. As I told in the paragraph, if it says in my example or take for example or one example or for facts or supporting evidence, ignore everything. Be very specific to the point. Ignore any types of explanations or examples. Write short points in logical sequence, which should be complete info. Don't have open-ended points. Write short ones but complete ones. Write short points. Avoid long sentences. Maintain short points. Then indentation, as we discussed. First point starts from here, indentation. Sub point may start from here. Sub point will start from here. So in the same line, it should start. No personal interpretations. Do not change the author's intended meaning. So whatever is this emotion while writing, use the same emotion and meaning. Don't change it. If he is written in a happy mode, your interpretation would also be in happy mode. If he is not impressed, if he is very sad and angry, that should be your tone. Don't use your own judgment here. Follow what is used by the author. Abbreviate most often used words. Now, if you're using very most, say, common words, abbreviate that, but at the end, also write glossary, what words you have used. Okay, this is note making. Then summary and précis. Quick difference, someone quickly. Difference between summary and précis?
Yeah. Sir, summary is whatever the longer one they have given, we need to write it in shorter one, condensed form. Or sometimes they would have given just one topic and we just about one topic, sir. The entire topic we read and just write it in one page. For example, in law and all, we'll have a very big textbook, like entire partnership. If we write it in just 2 pages, that is summary writing. The entire lesson, if we write it in 1/3, that will be précis. Both are same, sir, but the only difference is in précis writing, we can write the in précis writing, we must write whatever is there in the paragraph. But in summary, we can add our own interpretations also.
Okay. Okay. For example, how will we approach this question next? Can you see? What can you see on the screen now? The same difference sheet, right?
Yes. Yes.
So how do we approach such question? Précis writing, summary writing, to waste time. How do we not waste time here? We discuss some techniques, right? What is the technique? To save time during the exam hall.
So first we must make a rough note of how many words will fit in each line and then count. Is that technique, sir?
Yes. When do we do that? In the exam hall?
No, sir. Before exam, even before.
You do that in the exam hall?
No, sir.
So have you identified how many words? What's your gap in between? Have you done that already? I had given it as homework also, I think, I remember. Yes or no?
Yes.
So I will, what you should do is, you have access to your previous year papers, right? Take a copy, photo of someone who has posted, and I will share the screen with you 1 minute. Wait. Can you see the screen? Wait. Yeah, now can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so what do we have here? This is your
précis.
What is this? So here in this page number, assume this is your exam paper, right? The question paper. Assume this is the previous year question paper. Here it says, write précis and give appropriate title to the passage given below. Assume this is the actual question paper. What should you do beforehand is see, because question paper font, everything will be same throughout. See, count how many words are there in the paper. For example, here, first line, count how many words are there. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There are 15 words in a line. You can take an average of second line also if you want, just in case. Second or say randomly third line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This also has 15. So on an average, plus or minus 2 words, okay. On an average, we have 15 words in one line in the question paper. How many lines are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 17, 18. Let us ignore this half for now. 19, 20, 21, 22, 26. 26 and a half. So in one word, in one line, we have 15 words. We have 26 and a half lines. So how many words on an average? Let us say, let's use the calculator. 15 into 26.5, 397.5, around 400. Let us say 400. How many words should you write in your answer paper?
130.
1/3 means 400 divided by 3, which is 133, plus or minus 5 to 10 words. So 133 words. What will you do? Will you start writing and counting one by one? No. If you do that, you will waste time. You will lose 10 marks at the end, which you will not get back once again. So once you write, you know how the answer paper also looks. Take an A4 sheet from left hand side to right hand side. Write the same first and second line, same first line at least, or at least 2-3 lines. I've asked you to write in class also, and see how many words will fit in your line. In one line, how many words will fit in? Let us say 7. Let us say 7 words in one line in your book. How many lines you should write now? How will you calculate? Simple maths.
130.
In one line, you will write 7 words. So 133 you got. So 133 divided by 133 words divided by 7 lines in a word, which comes up to 19 lines. You will have to write in 19 lines to be 1/3. What the technique? How to do? So in your answer paper, what will you do? Mark 19 lines. From here to here, mark 19 lines. And the 7 is just an example. If you write more, it will be even crisper. Mark 19 lines and say, 1/3 I will write the intro, then body, then conclusion. Plan it accordingly so that once you're approaching 17th, 18th, 19th, you are about to conclude. When you do this, no need to count the number of words in the exam hall, because once you start writing, you already finished 19 lines. Then you realize there are 2 more paragraphs pending to be condensed. Can you write? Can you go beyond 19 lines? No, they will not give you marks, because here they are seeing how well you can condense it, right? Use this technique so that you will get an approximate idea as to when I should finish. Mark that line directly. Here you will not sit and count the words there, which will save a lot of time. Have you done that already? I've asked you to do that many times.
Yes.
If you have not done, last chance, do it today. You should know how many lines in your book. Do that today and look at the question paper. How many lines there? How many words? Easily calculate. Start writing without counting the words 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will lose time there. Yes.
Sir, you told that 1/3 of the passage should be our précis writing, no, sir? And out of that 1/3 should be intro, 1/3 should be body, and 1/3 should be conclusion.
More or less. But again, that depends on what is there in the content actually in the passage. So focus on this. So last 2-3 lines. But the problem is, if you focus too much on the body and don't leave enough space for conclusion, then you can't write the conclusion. That was my point. I'm not saying allocate 1/3 for intro, 1/3 for body, 1/3 for conclusion. No, it all depends on what is there in the paragraph also. So my point was, when you are about to finish 1/3, your first 1/3 of the passage should have been done. Plan it accordingly like this. If there are 20 lines in the or 30 lines in the question, you should have finished 10 lines when you finish 1/3 in your book, answer book. The 11 to 20 page will be the second set. 11 to 20 in the question paper will be your second half, second bit. This is how you can give equal space for intro, body, and conclusion. But if you focus too much on the body, you should you will have to finish by 19 lines. But you have already finished 19, but you have not written the conclusion only. That was the point. Don't allocate 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. 1/3 of the passage overall. But when you're about to finish 1/3, just make sure 1/3 of the passage is also done. That was the point I was trying to make.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So things in mind, again, whatever I told is written here, right? So you're not more than 7 lines, make a mark on the side of the margin after 7 lines. Why make a mark? Is for you to know that, okay, I should end here, right? For you to know you should end here, make a mark there. So already discussed in detail. Let us move on to article writing. This is pertaining to the creative writing chapter. Remember, 5 marks, creative writing, article writing, and report writing. Here, there is no format or rules to be followed. There is no technique to be followed here. What will we do in this case? We will follow a normally accepted structure. What is that structure? First comes the heading or title. As I told you, outside of your exam, don't be very direct. Build some curiosity outside the exam. But in your exam, what to do? Let it be direct. Or else the paper corrector will think he doesn't know what the word is. He has written some other title if he doesn't understand. It works outside of the exam. But in exam, let it be direct and to the main idea. Again, the passage is about accidents, for example, or the article is about accidents. Why accidents? 3 reasons for accidents. How should we safeguard ourselves? What should be the title pertaining to? The overall theme, not about drink and driving or potholes or using phones. Your title should be pertaining to the overall theme of the passage or the article, right? Then comes the writer's name. By whom? Who has written this article? Usually it comes towards the right. Below the title, the right hand side. Then comes the 3 golden rules, which is applicable for most of the chapters. Article writing, email writing, letter writing, other writing also, which is introduction, body, conclusion. We have discussed in depth in class. Always follow this rule for all. In letter writing, email writing, précis writing, article writing, no, not précis, but all where you're writing on your own. First, give context. When they say introduction or opening, give context. Don't directly jump into the topic. Build some curiosity, build some suspense, tell about what you're telling, give some brief or background. Then second is actually the content. What exactly you're trying to tell that, write about that. Last is conclusion. Why did you tell this? What is the message at the end? What is the takeaway from the end? What are you recommending at the end? If I have to take the same example of accidents, what will I say? Introductions. As I say, establish the context, give startling facts, statistics. If you say, even while speaking or while writing, if you say, this article is about accidents, if you directly or direct, there will not be any curiosity or suspense. So start with a fact or statistics or give some context. As I discussed in class, do you know, say 37 of the people who meet with an accident die on the spot? Or 25% of the people who don't wear helmets usually meet with accidents. I'm just giving examples, some facts where you're setting the context. Then talk about the 3 reasons for accidents in the body. Because of drinking and driving, negligence because of phones, potholes in the roads, whatever. Then at the end, why did you tell this? What is the message at the end of the article for me? People will only remember your introduction and your conclusion. They will not remember your content, the body part. So focus will be on the conclusion. Your whatever message you leave behind, they will remember that. How will we end it? With an opinion. In my opinion, I say one single-use plastic should be banned because of the following points, above points. Or recommendation. I recommend you to use steel bottles instead of plastic bottles to save earth, save environment. Or a warning at the end. If you use plastic, what is the warning? Non-degradable, etc., something of that sort. Or an appeal. It's an appeal to the general public to do this. Or a call for action. Call for action means you're asking them to do something. Like at the end, do this. Buy steel bottles. You're telling them to do something. That is call for action. There should be a proper conclusion here. Don't simply say these are the 3 points because of accidents, or accidents happen because of 3 points. Thank you. No. There should also be a proper conclusion at the end. Why did you tell this? What is the takeaway from me as a reader from this message, from this article, right? So heading, by intro, give some build up coding, then come to the point in the body, then conclusion. Why did you tell this? Remember I told you introduction means tell them what you are going to tell them. Body means tell them, actual part. Conclusion is tell them what you told them. It's like a summary of what you've written and why are you telling this. That is article writing. And then steps in article writing again. who is the audience. Depending on who the audience is, your style of article will change. Because this is a professional class and we are integrating fun and as well as learning together, overall development. We may not talk only in English. We may not be very strict. We may add some humor in between, talk in Kannada, because it can work here. But if I use the same class, if I take the same class in the income tax department, where I usually take other classes, can I talk in Kannada or can I crack jokes or no? Can I build a personal bond there and talk? Not possible. So depending on who the audience is, your style of writing will also change. If you're writing for kids, you will use cartoon references or use simple words which they can understand. If you're writing in a foreign newspaper, use complicated words or stylish words or different codes. So you should know your audience first. Then why are you writing the article? What is the purpose? Then comes collect and select information. What information you can gather and keep. Then organize and sequentially, organize info sequentially and logically. Even when you write an article in the exam, in the last page, what you can do is, if you're writing about accidents, for example, write about everything you can write. If you're writing an article on anything for that matter, whatever comes to your mind, write in 2-3 words, whatever you can write. Accidents, drink and drive, phone, potholes, negligence, then you can say, I'll write this in the introduction, this in the body, this in the conclusion. Sequentially organize it. Then you start writing. But you write an article, don't start and then say, okay, next time barili anta. No. First organize your thoughts. Think about now, what all can we write? At the last page, just write bullet points around 6, 7, 8 points. I'll write about this, I'll talk about this next, then this. Organize there. Then once you start writing, you should not stop. Look at the last reference, the next day, come back and write. But don't start and say, okay, I've started writing, what do I write next? Then you will not go sequentially, right? This is the trick to approach article writing. Next, report writing. What does this mean? And how is it different from article writing? Who will tell me?
Sir, article writing is also a creative way of writing. Even report writing is also a creative way of writing. But in article writing, we can express our emotions, sir. Whereas in report writing, it should be more formal way. Approach must not be in an informal way. We cannot convey our own opinions, thoughts, or intonations. Whereas in report writing, everything should be factual, sir.
Okay. Anyone else?
It should be based on life statistic and not based on assumptions.
Okay. Then anyone else? Reports are usually something which has already happened. I'll write a report on the CAP Sabha, which we did. Right? So what happened in CAP Sabha? So most it will be in past tense. If it's a report on something which has already happened. If it's about to happen later, that's a different thing. But if it's already happened, we're writing a report on that, mostly we'll use past tense. And we'll mostly not use direct nouns. I, me, etc. We'll see that later. But there are 3 categories. One is newspaper reports, one is magazine reports, one is formal or official reports. When it comes to newspaper and magazine, there is not much differences. The only difference is the place and date. Because magazine can circulate anywhere, but newspaper will be jurisdiction specific. No? So we'll say place and date. Magazines, it will come once in a month, once in a fortnight, once a year. But newspapers are sometimes daily. So here we use place and date as extra item. All others are same. For example, both will start with a title or headline. Both will start with by. Who wrote this? Then newspaper will have place and date. Magazine will not have place and date. Both will have the actual content. But when it comes to formal or official reports, there is no fixed format as such, but they follow general formal rules. For example, audit report will have a different report format. Sales report will have a different format. Annual report will have a different format. There is no format as such. It's dependent on the type of report which we write. Right? This is the difference between newspaper, magazine, and formal reports. I think there are some points to remember as well again here. Can someone quickly read this out? Quickly.
Yes, sir. Points to remember. Specific points. Reports are objective. Suggestions and recommendations should be purely based on facts and data, no subjective views. Personal pronouns in first and second person, that is I, we, you, are generally not used. Passive voice is preferred for newspapers and magazines, while passive voice for official reports. Past tense is used as reporting on events, happenings which have already taken place. Technical jargon may be avoided if necessary to include add a glossary. General points. Bear in mind the target audience, language, clear, concise, and to the point. Avoid long sentences, vague information, and irrelevant material. Arrange information logically and sequentially. No grammatical errors. Proof. Reading preferred for accuracy.
Proofreading. Proofreading means go through once for grammatical mistakes. Anything which I have not discussed here. Passive voice preferred for newspapers and magazines, active voice for official reports. What's the difference between active voice and passive voice? In active voice, preference will be given to what? Subject or object?
Subject.
So I did this. So he did this. So preference will be given to the subject when it comes to reports. But newspaper and magazine, Suddhi Badchi matadtare, so focus will be on the object. Okay. And as I discussed, past tense for reporting on events which has already happened. And technical jargon. Jargon means, what is jargon? Used in a specific industry. For example, yes.
9 to 5 job.
9 to 5 job. What does 9 to 5 job mean? Day job, morning to 9. But if you go to medical related, hospital related, they will have their own keywords pertaining to their industry. Will we as common students understand what they are telling? For example, if you watched a lot of TV shows, Grey's Anatomy or other hospital related, they say code red, code blue or something. They will have their own meanings and interpretations. Will we know what that is? No. So when we are writing something general, avoid technical jargon because others from who don't know about this field may not understand much. So think about the audience as well when you write. Avoid technical jargon. Use general language. Okay. Next, formal letters. Again, there are a total of 7 types of letters. There are 3 categories we can classify to: business or official letters, letters highlighting civic problems, job applications. So one thing is common here. What is that? The format. How does the format look?
From date to, then it should be greetings.
Salutation.
Salutation, next subject, body, conclusion, and it is like thanking you yourself.
Format is same. So if you don't know what to write, at least if you write this, you will get 1 or 2 marks. And there you will be given a situation. You are this of this. Write a letter to this person asking this. So from to is anyways there in the question. Yes. And if there is lack of information, you create something and write pertaining to the situation given in the question. From to subject, be very specific, inquiring about this something. Then comes the body. Even in the body here, intro, body, conclusion. Follow this for all chapters, as I mentioned. Introduction, why you're writing this letter, start with the greeting. Then comes the actual body, then conclusion. Conclusion in the sense, what is the next step here? After writing this mail, what next? Will I get a response? Looking forward to hear from you, etc., etc. So that's what I was telling you. When you look at many questions, you will see a pattern there. Take their own study material, for example. You will see a pattern there. How they conclude in different types of letters. And you can select some good points from each letter. You can create your own conclusion. As in any type of question given, you can use a similar one. For example, do let us know if you need anything else. Look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you. And look forward to again interacting with you soon. Normal closing, which I usually use in my mails. So when you read more formats, when you read more actual letters, you will get a fair idea of how to conclude also. And some common points which are used in most of the questions. Use that. Make a note of that. Right? So if you are diving specific to different types of letters, inquiry letter, what should it include? I think we have details in the next slide. We'll discuss that. I think we have details here. So points to keep in mind: use specific format, leave an additional line between paragraphs because we're not using indentations. Once you finish a paragraph, leave a line. State reason for writing the first paragraph. As I told you, introduction. Why are you writing this letter? I am writing this letter to bring to your notice this. right? So why you're writing this letter? First paragraph, intro. Add details that will make receiver's task easy. If writing to service center, model number, year of manufacture, invoice number, etc. So what they're trying to tell here is, when you're writing a letter, it should be complete. If you write a letter saying my phone is damaged, please tell me if there is warranty or no. Did you write the year of manufacture, which model number, where you bought? Nothing. So they will be confused. They will not have any information. They can't respond to you clearly. So write in such a way that you may not get any more questions from them. Be complete. Write completely. Right? Refer to any previous correspondence, if any. Again, very important. If you've already written a letter somewhere, sometime earlier, if you're writing one more letter now, you can say, or if there is any phone call earlier, then you're writing a letter. Good afternoon, whatever. And then you can say, as discussed over the phone call, please find the quote attached for the whatever order, or as per the email, as per your email dated so and so, this is what I'm doing now. So write that letter now. So any previous correspondence, if any, write about what type of letter or email that was with the date. As per your email dated so and so, state requesting so and so, please find my observations below. Right? So link it to the previous correspondence with date and what was asked there. Format we discussed. Sender address, date, designation, name of the addressee, address, salutation, dear sir, subject, content. Again, introduction, body, conclusion, complimentary close, your signature. Next, types of letters. Someone quickly read this.
Letters of inquiry. Who are you? Requirement, timelines. Second one, order.
What does that mean? Focus on these three. When you are inquiring about someone, first tell about who you are. And then what is the requirement and when will you get it? So focus on these three. When you say who you are, that means talk about you. Requirement means what do you want? Timeline means by when do you want? So these should be covered in the letter of inquiry. Next, order letter.
Order letter, buyer to seller requesting for delivery of goods must contain info about product delivery and payment. Letter of complaint.
So these should be covered. Next, letter of complaint.
Letter of complaint, notify the company about dissatisfaction with the product, provide relevant product or service details. Reply to letter of complaint, apologize, address issue, corrective actions, reassurance. Promotion letter, greet, offer details, offer validity, contact details. Sales letter, publicize and sell the product required for sales promotion, strengthen relations, and make customers feel important. Recovery letter, recovery without annoying customers, talk about amount due, due date of payment, legal action in case of non-adherence.
Okay, so what will you do, especially in recovery letter? What that means, you are asking for the amount due, but be polite. We saw no courteousness, effective characteristics of effective communication. Courteousness, what does that mean? Be polite, don't be rude. Even though it's overdue, don't say it's been 1 month since you have not made the payment. Will you make the payment or should I file a police complaint? That's not how you write. You will not get marks also. So you can write as even after repeated reminders, you have not made the payment. In case payment is not made within the next week, we will be bound to take legal action. Something. Talk about the consequences, but with a polite, sugar-coated words. Don't be very arrogant also. So different types of letters require different content to be filled in. So focus on this. Content, main structure will be same. Fill in the blanks will be different. Okay, next. Quickly moving on to circulars and memos. In 30 seconds, who will differentiate this? Quickly. Then in your own words. Other forms of official communication, circulars and memos. Quick difference in 30 seconds, who will say?
Sir, official circulars are something which the top level management will intimate their staffs or their lower level of management, sir.
Okay.
Whereas memorandum, even after they give that circular, if that is not fulfilled, they give another circular, and this another circular itself is memo, sir.
Okay, so conclusion is circular is for whom?
First time. Reminders.
It's a larger audience or smaller audience. It's an open circular. But when we write a memo, it is for a specific department also. And it is about to remind or to instruct or to tell them what exactly that is. So if you look at the format of a circular, what does it say? Circular number, date, title, and address to whom, write it, and then who has signed it with name and designation. Open-ended circular. But when you look at the format of a memo, date, to, from, reference, because we'll not directly write a memo, there will be some background to this. What is that reference? We'll write here, right? Memo first, name of the company memo, date, to, from, reference. See, to whom? Addressed to a specific department or a specific group of people, memo. But when you look at a circular, it is to all employees. It's like a general. But here it's for a specific department or a specific type of group of people. Then this will be same, subject, sign, designation, right? This may be asked, so we should fill it in with the format. Next, email writing, again, just like letter writing, from, to, CC, BCC, subject, salutation, main body, closing, attachment, signature. So if I have to write, can you see the screen? Can you see Google's homepage, or can you still see the PDF?
Google.
Can you see Google now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will randomly open a mail. Let me see, wait. So if I start composing the mail, yeah. So what is to here? Addressed directly to the recipient. So if I'm sending a mail to, say, Shetty sir, for example, what happens there? Shetty sir will be marked at to shettisir@gmail.com. But if I'm sending a mail to Shetty sir, but I want Aman sir, SMS sir, and Mehul sir also to know about this, so I will write CC. They are also kept in the loop. Or they should also know what I'm writing. So usually it is written to the intended recipient's superior and my superior also, and my team members also, so that my team also should know what's happening with that, right? There's something called as BCC. What does that mean?
Sir,
You are writing this, but others will not get to know that you are writing this. For example, if I'm writing a mail to Shetty sir, CC Aman sir and SMS sir, BCC my wife. Now these people will not get to know that my wife is also party to this mail. My wife will get the mail, but others will not get to know that she is part of this mail. Then comes the subject. Be very, very specific, because if you look at my mailbox now, there are more than 12,000 unread emails. I will not open each and every mail. If the subject is very important, only then I will open. So if the subject is too lengthy or not to the point, it's a waste. Then comes same, your salutation, your content, again, which includes intro, body, conclusion. Then comes your salutation. If you have any attachments, right, attachments 1, 2, 3, 4. If there are 5 attachments, right, I have attached first attachment, second attachment, third attachment. You write the list of attachments as well, right? Yeah. So this is about email. So I also showed you, I mean, in the class, I showed you some mails also, I believe, how I sent mails to others and how courteous it should be while sending mails. Next, resume writing. Again, we discussed in the beginning also. We have discussed in depth by showing some resumes, and we discussed, I think we took more time to talk about resume in the beginning. So SWOT analysis, focus on your strength, your weakness, and wherever you have a weakness, focus on that. Yeah. So parts of resume, personal information, name, date of birth, contact details. In advanced, after your exam, you can avoid some unnecessary personal information. Career objectives, very important. Focus on what you will learn, and also in turn, what will the company benefit? How will the company benefit from it? Two benefits, you personally, as well as how will the entity benefit. Education, qualification, work experience, articleship and volunteering details, certification, awards and achievements, other interests, or skills, you can say skills and interests, and reference, usually provided on request. Now, where was I concentrating on my resume when I got placed in the firm, which was very difficult to get? Remember? This certifications, awards and achievement. Remember this, how I got placed. Because of this, I even showed my resume and read out some points, right? And there are 3 formats. One is chronological, skill-based, combination. When do we use which one?
Sir, chronological is used for normal resume, sir.
What comes first there? Your education qualification. This we can say is a chronological resume. What is skill-based resume?
Sir,
the focus will not be on the
focusing on
education,
your
but focus
skills.
will be on our skills, which we can use. For example, if I have experience in Chat GPT, right? I may have done some other degrees, but I have proficient experience in Chat GPT. If I say I've done that in ChatGPT, this in ChatGPT, I can apply for a job pertaining to ChatGPT based on the skill which I have. In that case, my education qualification will take a backseat. So we'll focus on my skill first. The order will change accordingly. That is skill based. Combination is focusing on both equally. But in your case, when you write, mostly it will be a chronological resume, unless the question says in the exam, you are applying for a specific job which will not give more importance to education but to the skill. Then you can change the order and write the skills, work experience first. The skills you possess first, right? Meetings. I think meetings is the last to discuss. We have meetings in person. It includes agenda, minutes, action taken, report. We'll see that practically. Agenda of a meeting I will show you practically. Minutes, then comes format of ATR. Now we have why meetings are conducted. Some theory, okay, some general points, but your focus should be on difference between organizational and operational meeting. An exam question, possibly. What do you mean by organizational meeting? So all management, shareholders, board of directors, they will meet. Operational meeting is the people who actually work. Our meeting is called operational meeting. Organization level, broad level. Operation means the people who are actually doing their meeting. For example, here it is AGM, board meeting, directors meeting. They will look at the overall position of the company and tell what to do. But who will do it? The actual employees. That is called as operational meeting. It may be your committee meeting, sales meeting, plan meeting, or procurement meeting, whatever, right? Now, as we discussed in the beginning itself, we have three parts: agenda, minutes, action taken, report. Now, what happens before the meeting? Agenda. During the meeting, we'll take notes, minutes will be prepared. And after the meeting, we'll send it to all the attendees, and then we will prepare an action taken report. In case you forgot how agenda looks like, look at one agenda practically, you will then get to know. Meetings, meeting agendas. This is how I prepare the agendas for every week. I hope you can see the screen. This is this week's agenda. For example, agenda for meeting number 137. This is 6, right? Date 12th May. So what did I write first? Our club's name. I've shown you this already, but as a revision. Club's name, agenda for which meeting, date, where, when is it? Any theme, word of the day. We'll write venue also. Because here we know where the meeting is conducted, but generally venue is also written, and to whom it is done. Who are the recipients of this meeting, that will be mentioned. Here what happens next? Time allotted to each and every role. Who is the role taker? What will he do? So focus will be on time, who is taking up the role, and how much time is allotted, and what will he do there. Simple. For example, 6:33. Sergeant at Arms means the person who starts the meeting. He will speak for 3 minutes. Then presiding officer will speak for 8 minutes. Then Toastmaster of the day, the MC, she will speak for 9 minutes. Then we have 3 speakers. This week we have Rajdeep sir also speaking there at the club. He's also a speaker at this Friday's meeting. So he is a speaker. So all these 3 speakers. Then we have a break. Then table topic master, pick and speak session. Then evaluator. So who will do this? All responsibilities will be assigned clearly. For example, this was last week's agenda. Right, same thing. Who was the sergeant at arms? Who was the presiding officer? I was in charge of the meeting. 3 speakers. Who was the table topic master? 3 evaluators. 3 other evaluators. Who will any another announcements? There's one announcement by someone else. Right. So all these details will be given in the agenda. So without you even attending the meeting or before attending the meeting, these members are the members of our club will know now what happens in this meeting. Who will be speaking? Who will be evaluating? What is the structure of the meeting? You will get to know before even attending the meeting. Now look at the format given here.
So just like plan of action, even agenda works now, sir?
Yes. Yes. So write the meeting title first, then agenda for the meeting, as you saw in our case. Meeting information, date of the meeting, time, location. Date, time, place, venue. Then comes, you can see time, topic, presenter, duration. Did you see that here as well? Time allotted.
Yes, sir.
Topic as in here. What will you do? who's the position holder and who is the member doing it. Right? Same logic applies here. Topic, who is the presenter, what duration. Here for time I wrote 6 to 6:33, 6:30 to 6:33. You can see here 6:15 to 6:30, 6:30 to 33. Duration 3 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Who is doing it? What will he do? Right. So here we know he is a speaker role and who's fulfilling the role. Similarly here, topic means the role. In my case, was the presenter. So I saw this format much later, but we were preparing the agenda from many years. I saw this later, but if you see, both are almost same. There's no difference. Now we know how agenda is prepared. Look at it practically. Meeting information, date, time, location, time, duration, who is doing. If they give a random case in your exam, prepare an agenda for a college get together or an alumni meet or annual day. Let's say CAPS Habba. What will you do? Again, title, etc., date of meeting, write the date, time, location. You will write here. Time 10 a.m. to 10:05 a.m. Topic, under topic we'll say invocation song. Presenter Diksha, the singer. Duration 5 minutes. Right. Next 10:05 to 10:15. Topic will be welcome address. Presenter Shetty sir. Duration 10 minutes. Then comes welcome dance, or say 10:15 to 10:30. Topic will be same, welcome dance. Presenter Chinmay C. Duration 15 minutes. So what happens sequentially in the meeting, we'll write along with who is doing and what is his responsibility. Clear with the agenda? This happens before the meeting. What happens during the meeting? Someone will take notes. What happened during the meeting? Minutes. Notes will be taken from the beginning till the end. Minutes will be taken, and this minutes will be shared with the members who attended or who are supposed to attend or who have attended. Here it will say minutes, date, time, location, attendees. Who were the attendees of the meeting? Say 20 people were there with names. And what happened here? Shetty sir started, or so we can say Diksha started the annual day with an invocation song. Then Shetty sir gave a welcome address. Then Chinmay had a welcome dance. So what happened sequentially we'll write. So even people who missed the meeting, looking at this agenda, they will get to know what happened there, even without being there. So it should be so clear and crisp. Then recorded, and when was it written and sent will be shared. Suman says, can you share this PDF in group so that it will be useful? This will be shared. Actually, I will add some more questions and share it with you. The same PDF with some questions for practice. I will share it with you later. Don't worry about that. So if I have to show you an actual meeting report also, I think we are exceeding the time limit, but I'll finish in 5 minutes. You can see here, this is 1374, the minutes of the meeting. You can see here, Bangalore Toastmasters Club, minutes of the meeting. Heading is given there. YouTube link, okay. Minute details, meeting number, date, theme, word of the day, who started the meeting, presiding of at what time did we start and end. Role takers, who were the role takers who were part. Any awardees, who all won the awards that week. Prepared speeches, who all gave the speech pertaining to what. Table topics, who came and spoke. Attendance details, who all were there. 24 members were there, 20 guests were there. And the names of 24 members who attended, right? Then any other announcements made. And some photos, awardees of the meeting, and some, if we give any snacks, what happened there. So even if you miss this meeting now, looking at the minutes, you will get to know everything, what happened in the meeting. So it should include all these points which are focused here, right? Date, time, location, attendees, what happened in the meeting, recorded by. Last, we have action taken report. So in the meeting, say general meetings, we may decide saying that by next week we will follow this. The subsequent week follow this. Today is 9th of May. By 15th of May, we should finish this. By 20th of May, we should finish this. We will plan that in the meeting. Will it be restricted only to planning? What is the status of the implementation? That will be written in the action taken report. And write the date. We'll say, as per the meeting held on 9th May, so and so, following actions have been reported, and we'll write all these. We were supposed to write this, we did this. We're supposed to construct this new hall, this is the status of that. We were supposed to write this, this is the situation. We're supposed to do this, this situation, and then sign. And in case something was not done, this was supposed to be done, but that will be postponed to the next month, will be implemented by next month. So basically, whatever decisions happened that day, or we took that day, what is the status of that decision is called as action taken report. The last slide is thank you slide. But I think we have one more meeting, so we'll have to end this meeting fast. I will take 5 more minutes. To summarize, what we saw today is just a stepping stone for you. Yes or no? It's a stepping stone for you where you will use this revision, whatever we did today, and start your revision, your next round of revision. In case you had forgotten what had happened till now, what will you do? Use this revision as base, re-revise once again. We'll have one more round of revision later before the exam. But by then, don't wait, don't keep any topics or chapters pending to study or revise. The revision should be done. That is like a last minute spoon feeding which we do, R2R, which we do later before the exam, right? Some last minute tips, some last minute points to note, some quick revision. Don't keep any topics pending. Revise all the chapters what we have already covered. Don't keep any points pending. This revision was intended for you to just refresh your memory once. Many of you may have not even opened the books after your BCR class, right? Now you have got a fair idea as to what were the chapters, at least into the chapter secondary. Now you know. Use this knowledge to step it up, right? So last point I want to discuss towards the end was direct to indirect speech. I think we missed this. I thought I'll discuss at the end. I thought I'll discuss this at the end. Yes. So here your focus should be on who said this to whom. I kept this for last because many people make mistakes here. I've seen a lot of mistakes here. You will write assuming you're right, but in fact the answers will be wrong. What is the mistake which we usually do here? I've given this example in class as well, if you remember. Rama said to Sita, I love you. Remember this example? Rama said to Sita, I love you. What will you write in the exam if this question was given? Will you say, Rama told Sita that I love you? Is that the answer? I'll change the question. I'll say, a pretty lady, a pretty girl told me, I like you. A pretty girl told me, double inverted commas, I like you. Indirect speech. A pretty girl told me that I like you.
She likes me.
Or that she likes you. Does she like you or does she like me? She likes me, no?
She likes me.
So focus on Yaro, Yarige, Hedudru. Who told to whom? That should be very, very important. Rama told Sita, I love you. Don't say Rama told Sita that I love you. Why will Rama tell Sita that I love you? I as in me, you as in someone else. Why will Rama tell Sita that? Rama told Sita that Rama loves Sita, no? So that is a silly point, silly mistake, which people usually do without knowing that you're making a mistake there. So when you convert it, Rama told Sita that who? I or he? He. Who's he? Rama. Rama told Sita that he loves you, her. So he, her. So I and you will be changed to he and her. Got it? Same thing. A pretty girl told me I like you. A pretty girl told me that
she likes me.
She likes me. She and me. Don't say you. Don't bring you into picture here. Right? So focus on who told and to whom it was told. Point of mistake which many people do. Right? Okay, so with this we have finished 3-hour exhaustive revision, discuss some tips, tricks and techniques as well. Remember? Yes or no?
Yes,
Vaishnav,
sir.
you have a question?
Yes. Yes, sir. Sir, could you brush up with the type of sentence like compound sentence and complex sentence?
Okay, who will do that? I want you to do it. As I told you, it's your vision, not mine. So you tell me, then I tell you if it's correct or wrong. You as in anyone. Who will tell me compound, complex? It was part of vocabulary, remember?
So compound sentence is the sentence which has the aggregation, or it is the combination of various sentences put together, making a meaningful sentence as a whole, sir.
Okay. Did you understand, Vaishnavi? No. Try once again, Tejaswini.
So like, for example, we'll have many things like Bangalore is a cool city. We reside in Bangalore. Our college is in Bangalore. So all put together, we say that Bangalore is a cool city. my college is also situated here, and we say everything, and this whole sentence makes one meaning, no sir. So that is compound sentence.
Okay, did you understand?
Yes, sir. Sir, in
No,
the study
you
material,
explain now.
sir, in the study material they have given, I understood the compound separately and complex separately. In the study material they have given complex and compound sentence together. I couldn't understand that.
Okay, wait, let me check the study material once.
So both compound and complex sentences mean the same only, no sir. But
Is
if
it?
the compound sentence itself will be having lots of punctuations along with idioms, that becomes complex sentence, no sir.
Let us see where you are confused. Any confusion with simple sentence? Can you see the
No,
screen?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is a compound sentence? Which contains two or more independent clauses. You know what clauses are? Dependent and independent clauses. If you don't know that, then we'll have to dig deep once again. So it contains two or more. So compound, it's a combination of something. It's a mixture. So it contains not only one independent clause, but it contains one main and one independent, or two or more main and independent clauses. When we bring it together, it becomes a compound sentence. Okay, complex sentence, it uses one or more dependent clause. Notice the difference between compound and complex you saw here. In compound, it contains two or more main or independent clauses. Here it contains one or more dependent clauses. Oh, who will tell me what are dependent and independent clauses? Do you know that, or should I dig deep once again?
Yes, sir, we know that, sir.
Okay, so main difference between this is here compoundly we use independent ones without them being dependent on each other. But when it comes to complex, they are dependent. Without first, second may be difficult to manage. Look at the examples given here, you will understand. We have complex compound sentences also, but look at the simple examples given, it's easy to understand. Okay. Any other questions? Should we, if you have more questions, or if you want me to focus on any specific topic once again, any chapter once again, let me know. I'll talk to Shetty sir. We'll have one more session for 1 hour, and we'll have one more session where we'll dig deep once again. In case you want, you let me know or let Shetty sir know. We'll do that once again later. But by then, if you have any questions, you can quickly ask and we can sort it out. Anyone else? Any questions, any doubts, any clarifications, any advice, any tips, tricks, techniques you want?
So during class, you told, no sir, like when we convert direct sentence to indirect sentence, use steps like remove inverted commas, first person becomes third person. Can we use the same logic for all?
Yes, that's how it is done. So
Okay,
he
sir.
told me, I hate you. So this conversation is between whom and whom? He, him, and me. Correct? So you can say Rama told me, I hate you. This conversation is between Rama and me. So when you write the answer, your end result should also be discussion between him and me. So the question will be, Rama told me, comma, double inverted comma, I hate you, double inverted comma, close. What will the answer be? Rama told me that he, I becomes he, because it's a conversation between Rama and me, no? So that he hates me. I and you will become he and me. So when you break this down after the comma converted into indirect speech, this is what you should focus on, right? I also told you one more trick. Once direct speech is given in the question, you convert it to indirect speech first, which is the answer. And later, you reconvert that indirect speech to direct speech and see if it matches with the question. What I'm saying? Direct speech given in the question. You solve it. You get indirect speech. That is the answer. You get 1 mark there. But as a matter of cross-check, what you should do is reconvert that indirect speech to direct speech and see if it matches with the question. If it matches, you are fine. 1 mark guaranteed. No, they can't deduct any marks from you. But here in the question says Rama told Sita, I love you. You write Rama told Sita that I like you. But when you reconvert it back to direct speech, answer will be different. In that case, you made a mistake somewhere. It's a matter of cross check. All right. So use the same techniques I taught in class. Break it up. Use first party, second party, first person, second person. Who told to whom? Be very careful there. Then start solving it. Clear? Okay. Anyone else? Any other questions? All clear? All ready for the exam? Don't go with negative mindset. Think that you can do it. And your expectation should be there. But don't be overconfident. Minimum 40 in BCR as we discussed. But don't be overconfident saying, anyways, I will get 40. I will not study. Will that work? No. So if your expectation is high, your hard work should be higher. So keep that in mind. All the best for your studies. We will be there throughout your journey till you write the exam, till you pass the exam, and even after that as well. You can approach us anytime you want. In case you want to directly ask some queries to me later, you can take my number from me or Shetty sir or anyone from your friends if you have. Get in touch with me. Make sure all your queries are solved. Don't keep any query pending in your mind before the exam. Let it be the simplest of doubts. Make sure you solve it. You clear it, then write the exam. Right? If you don't ask, it is your loss only. Any more questions? Should we call this a close? Learned something new today? If not, at least revised all your forgotten topics?
Yes,
Happy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
On that note,
Thank you, sir.
thank you very much. All the best to all of you. Do well in the exams. We'll meet once again, but prepare well. Any queries, approach us, any faculty, we'll be there to help you anytime, right? Simplest of queries also, ask me. English, any simple queries you want, some tricks and tips, ask me, we'll do it. On that note, thank you all of you. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.